This is the Date Night Dice Podcast, a podcast mostly about board games.
Probably not.
Hello and welcome to episode number 34 of the Date Night Dice Podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
And our favorite co-host is back with us again. Hey, Ken.
How's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you?
Oh, boy.
What
Man,
happened?
that's not good.
What was your day that came out as
It's
your
been the
response?
whole week. It's in the boys' chat. It's just been a chorus of just a tough week all around.
I get the impression work is sort of weighing you down. Is this true?
You, me, the boys, everybody.
Everybody.
Rob was
All
cooked.
boys.
Matt was cooked. All boys are cooked right now.
Oh, man, I call me a pot roast. I'm slow cooked, right?
Stick a fork in me. I'm
You
done.
could shred me easily.
Call me a pot roast.
A pot roast, right? I've
That's
been in
actually
the slow
pretty
cooker.
good. I would fall right off the bone if you pulled me off the stone. If anybody tried to pull me, it would just come right off the bone.
Oh, that's excellent.
Buried in work. Very much looking forward to Saturday because everything's due tomorrow.
Ooh.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I'm ahead. So
Okay, good.
Friday, I saved it all. Friday, I'm just emailing it out. Right?
Oh, perfect then.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we do record on Thursday. Now, tomorrow night, are you going to be ready and raring to go? You'll be all
Yes.
done by tomorrow night.
I'm already done. It's just my head is full of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a day to
Right now.
recover from
Right.
this disaster. I got
Tomorrow is you email it out, you get a little bit of feedback, maybe you make a few changes, you wrap it up before 5. That's it.
There you
Nice. Yeah, I've been doing a startup for work. I do process automation. We're starting up a plant, so
Well,
It's-
here I am complaining. Your hours have been like 70, 80-hour weeks.
yeah. Well, you know what it is. It's like it's hard to do a lot of shift changes. So we just work 12s, and then you only talk to the other crew, right? Because we're not like it's not like when you have a normal job that is going to spread over a long period of time. It's like we're trying to do as much work as possible in a very short period of time. So it's one of those things where like I feel like I've been working a little bit, like my work load has been a little down on purpose. So if I kind of direct my own work,
Right.
let's say, in preparation for this. So I've been like preparing completely for I'll just do nothing but work for 2 weeks. It's totally fine. I do 2 of these a year. I have been for like doing this for like 5 years or whatever.
Oof.
Except Emily broke her knee.
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
wasn't good timing.
I can't just disappear into my work. It's been wild. Yeah, it has.
Been difficult.
I think it's been great actually. This like shout out to the people I work with, I guess.
Yeah, nobody's listening. What?
Yeah.
Bill, you did really great last Wednesday.
I'd like to
Right.
shout out to myself because I did great this week.
Yeah, you're
I
sort
think
of
I'm-
like a one man show.
For the most part, yeah, it's been exciting this week. Data rates
Are you
apply.
trying? Oh, I thought you were actually doing
I
it
was
on your
crying.
phone.
I'll do it on yours.
Oh.
We'll get the knee cam in the for anybody who watches this on
Set up
video.
a GoPro.
You will see the knee
It's
cam.
like attached to my brace or something.
Right.
I just
attached
need a
to the
moment
knee.
here.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves while I pull up the knee cam.
No, I did get the I think it was during the D list last time. I went that right after that to get an MRI.
That's right. Yeah.
And everything went good there. I don't have any like major knee issues, no
Good.
Oh my
ligaments,
goodness, you have
nothing insane.
50 Chrome tabs open on your phone? Are you
I'm
insane?
never going. Like I don't actually
you
open up
should
Chrome, so
see-
I just whatever you Google search, it just
You should see my wife's laptop. She asked me to set up her for
Oh
some
my
reason the
gosh.
laptop camera isn't the default camera, and we were doing teacher conferences and stuff. And she's like, "Can you? It's like 3 minutes to the conference. So make it default." It's like, well, I don't know if that's going to happen. Turn it on. It's Chrome. It's just so it was so many tabs.
There it
There it is. Look at that.
We got the
Cam.
knee cam. Wait,
look at that
Megan's
rest.
computer had so many tabs?
So
Yeah.
many tabs. I physically had to restrain myself from closing it because I know she was working, right? It's all stuff. And I'm like,
See, tabs on my computer would bug me, but my like random background tabs in Chrome, it's
Yeah,
because
Leave them
every
all open.
well, it's every time you do like a Google search, it just probably opens a new
Clean
one.
those out.
hides-
Get rid of that
hides
garbage.
that stuff.
Who cares?
Get rid of that trash. Don't want that in there.
Oof.
Anyway, I'll be in a wheelchair for 6 to 8 weeks,
Oh.
so that's the outcome. But no surgery, no cast,
Yeah, nothing new though, right?
nothing like crazy. So pretty
Not
good
worse
news.
than initially.
Yeah, it's not worse than we thought.
That's good.
Well, I almost joined you. Last time we were talking, I was talking about my 4-week program, and that was the fourth of the 4 weeks, right? And
That's
I was
right,
so
yeah.
excited about how the progression had paid off and all this stuff.
Did your kneecaps shoot off when you lifted weight?
Well, the 5th week was supposed to be sort of a deload, and I didn't do that at all. I just started. I wrote a whole new 4
I
weeks,
just
which
got
is
more loaded.
different sets, different reps, whatever. But I did take advantage of
What
the
do you
first
call
week.
it that? Different sets, different reps?
Whatever. I
Sounds
just
like
wanted
a-
to see.
That sounds like a plan you would sell to people.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
all.
pretty
Well,
much.
I was curious where I was at, and I couldn't resist, right? So I went for some PRs. So my PR in the deadlift from last spring was 500 pounds. I was super proud of that. So this time I loaded up 505, and
Is that one where you have the video where it like...
well, I'll get to that in a
Oh,
second.
okay.
I get to that in a second. 505 though moved really good and
Right.
way better than 500 did in the spring. That 505 moved quick, man.
nice.
And
That's
so
good.
I was so pumped about that. That's to me that's unimaginable in the past, right? Like I never would have thought
yeah.
that I'd be lifting 500 pounds in my garage. But yeah, so then I did the same thing for squats. I loaded it up. I did a rep at 405 and it moved pretty quick for 405 for me. That's like a big deal, right? That
a
was always
huge
the
squat.
goal.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, how much can I do? Well, okay, I could put 10 more pounds on or 20 more pounds on or whatever. And I was like, well, my end goal for this year was 440, which is 200 kilograms. So a 200
Jeez.
kilogram squat would be cool. I loaded up 440, and Ken saw the video.
Looked good.
That the one I'm... No.
You
Yeah,
had
that's
it.
the one you're talking about.
Oh.
You had it.
If somebody was yelling at me to not give up,
Yep.
I probably could have had it.
Would have hit
It's-
you in the back with a little whip of some sort,
Right.
and you would have got up.
It's not that you couldn't have done it. It's that you're doing that in the garage while I'm the only person home and I'm in a wheelchair with a broken leg. And like I'm not gonna save you if like shit
Right.
It
were
does
to
make
go
me.
wrong.
It does make me nervous that you don't have any kind of catch there.
Yeah, nothing.
Spoiler alert, I didn't get it,
Yeah,
and I had
drops
to
the
dump
bar.
it.
Looked
I had
great
to dump
though.
it
I
off
mean,
my
you were.
back on the ground.
But
You
did
got through
that
the hard part.
easily.
Well, that's not true. What's the hard part of the squat like that?
For me, it's right there. It's that
Yeah.
you're halfway up. It's
Yeah.
about halfway up, I'd say.
Yeah.
And maybe I would have had it. But anyway, the fact that I was that close at 440
good.
when I failed 425 last year, big time.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is paying off. This self-written program, so everything was based around like sets of 3, 4, maybe sets of 5 on the first 4 weeks. Now it's all around sets of 7. So this kind of sucks. Like 4 sets of 7 at heavy weight. And it's 4 sets of 7
That's weird.
squat, and it's 3 sets of 7 on deadlift.
Ugh.
But that like this week, the 3 sets of 7 was 405. 7 reps at 405.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
No, thanks.
it's so heavy. I did 4 sets of 7, 315 in the squat. I mean, this is stuff. The thing is like these. I don't know if anybody listening like lifts or whatever, but for me, these numbers were like unimaginable. And so putting down a system and then executing it and then having it work is like blowing my mind. It's the most encouraging
Well, that's
thing
good.
ever.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, when I'm out of my cast, my right leg will be able to do the 405.
There
My
we go.
left leg will be jelly. So we can figure out how to strengthen that leg again.
We'll put you on a powerlifting program and we'll
Right.
even
Just
you
a
back
one
out.
leg.
First thing out of an injury is a powerlifting program.
Yeah.
Definitely
I
gonna.
think that's a good idea. That's what I always
Would
do.
you like to
That's what I've
recommend that
always
to the doctor?
said. Is you should powerlift after an injury. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Don't
Well,
do
first thing you
anything
want to
else,
do is
straight
try
to
and
it.
max out to see where you're at, right?
Let's just see how much you can do The other knee just
Definitely
Right.
don't do that.
goes out.
ER or PR or ER, right? That's
Yep.
always the same.
Yeah.
She did it. She's the
No.
first one to get there.
I mean, we'll move on here, but like the one thing
But
that's
we
been
won't.
sticking in my mind about this is like and I'm sure a lot of things are this way. If you make a plan and you stick to it and you set goals and you execute on it, like seeing the results is kind of cool. But in the case of this, like working out, it's not just like you see the numbers get bigger. That's cool, but you feel different. Like all of a sudden
Oh, yeah.
you're moving weights that previously were like you would kind of like hurt in weird places when you first start up. Like even squatting like lower weights, you're like, oh, this is sort of uncomfortable.
Yep.
You now like this many weeks into it, you put 225 on the bar or whatever. It's like boom, you can just kind of explode through that. And it was the same thing when I was running a lot. Like you'd run and run and run and run, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can run without getting tired anymore, unless I'm like really pushing the pace.
I still haven't hit that.
I need to
And
do that.
I'm not there
Yeah.
right now at all. But I've been there in the past where I've been like running so much that all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is no problem. Like I can just
It's not a thing.
like, and all of a sudden it's that way for like strength training. It's like all of a sudden I just feel different. Everything stops hurting.
I remember that last year, about this time of year, we were pushing and pushing and pushing, and it was like, man, but then I got super fat because I didn't do anything other than that. So I don't know. I'm trying to balance the approach here, right? I don't want to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool,
well,
though.
and you've been dealing with injuries, right? You had got the bum shoulder. You hurt your
I'm
calf.
dealing with being lazy. I don't know. I'm lost here.
Lazy.
Yeah. No, I did
Gotta
7
find
weeks.
Stella's got to get her groove back.
That's the thing. I did 7 weeks of that 12-week body powering, power
building?
building, and
Body powering.
body powering. And I don't know. I lost the groove, and
No.
a lot of it has to do with my children and my work right now. But
Yeah.
I do
Throw them
gotta
in the
find-
closet.
Well,
Turn
I
off
think
the
what I have
computer.
to do, I realized it's getting dark super early. Like I usually work out at 1 in the afternoon. In the summer, perfect. Roasting hot, get nice and sweaty. Garage is cool enough, no big deal. 1 o'clock right now, it's like the sun's starting to set. It's like I'm thinking about what am I going to make at dinner, this sort of thing. So I think I'm going to have to move the workout like way up. I might have to do early mornings again. We'll
Is
see.
your stuff in your garage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So you have
stuff's
to deal
cold
with-
now,
I was gonna say you have to deal with the cold now.
which is not
Were
a
you-
big deal, but it got cold really fast. Where now
Yeah.
it's going to be 30 tonight. It only gets into
Mhm.
the 40s in the day.
Yeah.
Stuff never
Mhm.
warm. The bar is cold.
bar's like
it never
ice,
gets
yeah.
Yeah.
warm.
Oh, absolutely. So for deadlift day, I brought the bar in the night before to
I
warm it
should
up.
do that.
But today I totally forgot, and so I was cold bar all the way.
That sucks. That sucks.
That just
Yeah, it
thanks.
took a while for my body to get warm enough where it didn't matter. But it's
Hmm.
not that cold. It's like 30s, mid 30s, right?
Yeah.
You got that Minnesota cold you're gonna have to deal with.
sorry.
Well, it snowed October 18th last year, 8 inches. So we're
Oof.
good so far. We're okay so far. I'll take it.
Yeah. So wait, you did have a Halloween block party though.
Oh yeah,
Without
that's right.
kids.
Without children,
Did anything crazy happen? Any highlights
Yes,
from the Halloween? Yeah.
no highlights. Crazy
Oh, darn.
things happen. No, so we're on a dead end. They have a block party at the end of the court every year. Usually it's on Halloween night, but it was a Sunday, so they moved it
Yeah.
to Saturday, which was actually really nice because then you didn't have to do everything all in one night. We went up there, hung out for a little bit, and they share food and all that. And then there's some younger folks on the street now, our younger folks, our age, mid-30s.
That would be younger on our
Yeah.
street.
Right.
That's very
It's
true.
mostly people who empty nesters. It's mostly empty
Mhm.
nesters on our street.
Yeah.
And so we're one of 3 sets of people in their 30s, I think.
Okay.
And so we're up there, and some neighbors who don't have kids were like, "Oh yeah, we're hanging out, but we're gonna go to a party. We're gonna go to
party.
we're gonna go to a
party.
party."
I swear I saw a picture of you standing near a beer
You
pong
didn't.
table
Let
in a
me
garage.
stop you right there. You didn't see anything, and if you
Never
did,
happened.
you imagined it. So,
Like party.
they being very nice said, "Hey, you want to come with us?" And we jumped on it. I don't know why.
Absolutely.
Because
Why
we didn't have
wouldn't you?
kids. That's why.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have kids.
Of course
Like
you would jump on
someone
that.
could like be like, "Would you like to do some coke?" And I'd be like, "I suppose we could try it." Like
I've
it's
never
what-
had any.
it's
Well, we
one
don't
of
have
wonder
those-
what it's
kids
like.
tonight.
I
We
don't
don't
Might
have
as
have
well
kids
find out.
tonight.
It's never gonna get like this again. Yeah.
Right. This is literally the one chance I'm gonna have. So just a teensy bit.
Just a
So
little.
anyway, we go with them. And I don't know if they were just being nice or if they genuinely wanted us to come, but we went with them and 15 minutes away or whatever. And I wrote here, as Johnny Rose from Schitt's Creek would say, I had too many olives. I didn't feel well the next day because I think I ate too many olives the
Oh
night before.
no.
No, I had
Well,
way too much fun.
We asked
Played
if you
some
wanted to
beer
play
pong.
Gloomhaven, and you were like, no.
Well, yeah,
I
that
think
was
Ken
had a
Halloween
few
night.
too
Yeah.
many.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
gosh, because the kids were at Grandma and Grandpa's for all Halloween day,
Oh,
night
okay.
before. So we didn't have. All we had to do was go out to my in-laws and
Yeah.
trick or treat that day,
Couldn't
and that
even
was
pull that off.
that was too much to ask. It took everything to get us to like slide into
Oh,
the
no.
car.
Oh, no.
And it was not good. It was a fun
Oof.
time. You know what I appreciated? People in their 30s actually like have cool costumes.
If you're going to get dressed
What?
up, like, you actually
I'm
get
not going to
dressed
look
up.
like an idiot. Yeah,
What
Right.
were what were some of them?
the guy who was the couple who were hosting it. He was the dude from Dodgeball, that movie. Like he had the
Oh,
Average
okay.
Joe's thing, and she was like a pinup sailor woman
Whoa.
with the hair. And
Nice.
who was there was one guy. There was a couple that were Steve Zissou squad. So gray sweats, red hat, something else like a blue bandana or something.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Zissou.
It worked really well. They did it really. They had the
That's really
hats
good.
really down. There
I'm
was some-
excited for that new Wes Anderson movie that's going to come out
Which one's that?
soon. I can't remember what it's called. Looks good, though.
I know what you're talking
They all look
about.
good.
I showed you, but I don't remember what it's
know.
called.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it was good stuff. Too much fun.
Cool.
Excited to never do it again.
Yeah.
You
That's
say
my
that
thought
until
every
next
time.
time.
Well, once a year is about right.
Every
that's-
time okay, sure, yeah, you're probably right, but every time I have more than 3 drinks, I feel like so bad, like not even a little bit bad, horrible, horrendous, absolutely terrible. I say
Really?
I'm never gonna drink again. Oh, absolutely.
that night.
2 for me is okay. 3 means
Wow.
maybe I have a little bit of a headache, depending on how dehydrated I was. But if I have 4, I'm gonna. Well, the problem is I never have 4. I have 3 or I have like 8.
Right.
I
Like
can't have more than 2. I have more than 2 of anything, and I will feel like total garbage forever. Yeah.
oh
Can't.
man, and I can't stop. I just keep doing it. What's wrong with me? I don't
Now
know.
imagine
You're on
that.
number
Now
2
imagine that.
tonight, So
You had your 8, and then because you can barely stand up straight, and you're at this party that you don't know anybody, you put on your Mandalorian helmet, which you can't see out of, and you
Oh my
can't breathe
gosh.
inside of, and then you
Nice,
burp
yes.
inside of, and it was good. It's good.
and you became the life of the
That
party.
sounds awesome.
No, I was not the life of the party. I was absolutely the death of the party, if anything.
No.
No.
All right.
Oh man.
Well, let's get this show on the road. So right off the bat, we have a couple of things we want to talk about. So
Some
for,
news?
for anybody who doesn't know or didn't hear or whatever, we have done a couple of different changes to the podcast.
Living
So
under a rock. Sorry.
we are trying to change it up a little bit and
Any
make
of
it
you bozos living under a
Yeah.
rock.
under a rock. We're trying to get more regular with our releases, and also we're trying to get it so the podcast can be a little bit more fun, a little bit more digestible. We split apart the D list from the main show. It's its own show, and it releases.
Jeez, you're struggling.
It releases on the off week from the main show. So we'll have this show, which is our normal Date Night Dice podcast, and then we do the D-list. Now, the fun thing about the D-list is that we live stream it, so it's recorded every other Thursday. At least that's the schedule right now. If that changes, we'll let you know. But if you guys want to tune in and watch us talk about bad movies live, you can go search Date Night Dice on Twitch or Date Night Dice on YouTube or Date Night Dice on Facebook. So we live stream to all three places simultaneously. You can hit us up in the chat while we're talking about movies that you didn't want to watch but were curious about.
We 100% spoil them too.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Don't come hoping to hear a little tidbit. We describe the entire movie and complain about it
in vivid detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the
Absolutely.
live streaming of the D-list was a lot more fun and less painful, which is saying something because that was the worst movie we've ever seen.
Oh, the last one was horrible.
Downsizing was bad. Spoiler, it's bad.
There were movies we've watched that are like goofy and bad and like, I don't understand why they did this scene, this movie. This one was straight up, I would be very angry if someone tried to make me watch it again. Like, it was bad.
Absolutely. The other thing is, you may be watching this right now, but we started posting video versions of the podcast on YouTube. So search Date Night Dice on YouTube, and you can watch the podcast in video instead if you don't want to listen to audio. So you have both of those options. Go search and find us.
And the D-list will also be an audio. It just takes a couple days for it to release on just the podcast audio.
That's right. We will have audio versions of the D-list in the podcast
So,
feed.
there's both.
Just the same.
Wow.
The other thing is...
Big move. Oh, sorry. Go.
No, go ahead. Please, Ken.
Big moves. No. You.
Absolutely. We have teamed up with the Gamecasters, who are Ryan, Natalie, and
You had to think about
Jeff.
that. Gotcha.
Oh,
Gotcha.
wow, beer number 2 really took a turn.
We
It took
teamed
a
up
turn.
with
Brian, Madeline,
Well,
like you just
what
made
What
the-
was
up
falling,
names.
What the
falling
heck
around
is
in my
a-
mind,
What the heck is a Jamecaster?
Ryan's been running his Gamecasters podcast for quite a while. He made the Gateway Network, the Gateway Gaming Network.
Yes.
I don't know what it's called. But it's to help new content creators have a voice, right? So that you're not alone. You can reach out to the Gateway Network and have a platform to reach out on.
It's supposed to be also other people in that network help out, but you clearly aren't. 'Cause
Oh,
you just...
I don't look to me for help. But if you want to help me, feel free. Like,
Soon
I'll
to
ride
be-
on your back. That's no problem.
Soon to be kicked from the Gateway Gaming
yeah,
Network.
you're gonna be an X from.
Sorry,
That's
you've
right.
been kicked.
Well, we have teamed
the
up with the
kick.
Gamecasters for a little bit of a giveaway. So this is U.S. only for shipping purposes. We are doing a giveaway of 4 games.
4.
So the games are Arch Ravels, which is a brand new game. It's about knitting, I think.
I was going to say, is
Yeah.
that a typo? Ravels?
No, it's really cute where you have to like build little crafts and you get points for your little knitting. It has cute little yarn ball
Yarn
pieces
balls.
and stuff. I saw.
Okay, a light game. Also, Tobago. It says here this is an adventure game. Players possess different
Sounds
parts
like
of a treasure
you're
map.
pronouncing all of these wrong. Our
More and more
travels. Tobago?
Tobago. I don't know. You're hunting for treasure.
Sorry.
Also in the giveaway is a Date Night Sushi Go box. So what is a Date Night box? It is a project
Oh,
that
cool.
Emily has put together. We've talked about before on the podcast where it is a date night in a box. It comes with a board game and it comes with a whole bunch of other fun stuff. Like
Yeah.
what, Em?
I didn't know what you were doing there. So it's the whole date night. So there's recipes for a drink and a snack and a shopping list, and there's icebreaker cards, and there's a playlist and the Sushi Go game, and then there's a little game for after and all sorts of things. So it's a date night in a box,
Nice.
That is
Excellent.
awesome. I cannot wait to subscribe to that. And if you never get there, I will hold it against you forever.
You got to get there. Well, there's a whole bunch of Sushi
Well,
Go's the first box. There's a whole bunch of
you
King
can't
Dominoes
see.
over here, a whole bunch of codename duets, and
Yeah.
a whole bunch of Fox in the Forest and Fox in the Forest duets.
Once
So
we
there
get
are
to
future
games-
date night boxes planned.
games that you don't have, Ken, we can actually send you boxes. Because you guys have
Absolutely.
Sushi Go, right?
Or
you did. I don't know if they got flooded.
We might
Did it-
not have it anymore. We might have lost it. Yeah.
After
I
the
don't know.
Great Flood.
The Great Flood.
I think around the Great Flood is when we started the podcast.
I think
the
so.
other thing,
Yeah.
there is one more additional prize. It is the Unlock trio box Mythic Adventures.
Which is one of my favorite unlocks.
I
that
thought it
we've
was
done.
excellent. Yeah, that's a very
We did
good
that
one.
with you, right? One of
Yeah,
those?
we did one of them. Yep.
That was a ton of fun. I love that one. My wife
We
loved
did
it.
In the Clutches of Hades. That was the one
Yeah.
we did together.
Yeah. That the other ones in there too were they're my favorite. So that's a good box.
I think Professor Noseside's Animal-O-Matic, which was in there, is probably my favorite unlock ever.
It's
Or it was
definitely in
the
my
most
top.
creative.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
So yeah, it's a big giveaway.
This is the giveaway. How do you enter the giveaway? This is the fun part. So you have to listen to this show, which is
Which you
episode
are.
34 of the Date Night Dice podcast, which you're listening to right now. You also have to go listen to episode 77 of the Gamecasters podcast. So that's the newest episode of the Gamecasters. Both of these release on
Yeah.
the same day, November 8th. So go
Yep.
look in the feed for the most recent Date Night Dice and
We'll
Gamecasters.
post about everything too again.
There are 3 riddles. They're not hard riddles, but there's 3 riddles in each show. And if you can come up with all 6 answers to the 3 riddles from each show and send those,
To Ryan at the Gamecasters.
yeah, message the Gamecasters Instagram account. So you got to DM them on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, I don't know what to do about that. Actually, send us an email, benmdatenightdice@gmail.com, with the
If
6
you're truly-
answers.
yeah.
We'll get it to Ryan and get you in the giveaway. So if you have all 6 answers, and this will run until midnight on November 15th, Monday, November 15th, and then Ryan's going to announce the winner on Tuesday the 16th at 8:30 p.m. on his Twitch stream. So this is Gamecasters on Twitch.
Wow.
And we'll put all the stuff on Instagram.
Yeah,
too,
we'll put all
as a
the
reminder.
details up.
But so you need 3 answers from our show, 3 answers from theirs for all the riddles, and that's how you get entered.
That's right. So here's an
Cool.
example. Here is the first riddle.
This is an example. This
Not
is
an
the
example.
riddle.
This is
The
real.
opposite of an example. An actual. This is an
This
actual,
is the actual
riddle.
first riddle.
All right. The first riddle for the contest. If this great snack wasn't at the store, M would curdle the milk in a panic to make more.
Classic. Love it.
What could it be?
Good stuff.
And then it's like, like
Right.
a little, yeah.
Oh, I know it. I know it.
Oh my god! I think somebody get a pen.
You want to read
That
it
kind of
again?
scenario?
Just to
Yeah,
let
just
'em-
in case.
If this great snack wasn't at the store, M would curdle the milk in a panic to make more.
There you go. That's one of 3.
Okay, so that's
tonight.
number 1.
All right. Pay attention for the other 2 later in the show.
Are you okay?
No. I'm like
Nothing
gonna-
is in okay. I'm in
I am
pain
not okay.
all the time.
And we're back. Sorry.
Are you guys
No, that
ready
was
to talk
great.
about some board games?
I am. Skip the nonsense. Tell me about the board games.
About the board games. Well, we actually have a short list this week, and that's
Very
totally
short.
fine because I think we want to have quite a long discussion on Dinosaur World and Dinosaur Island. So first, I just want to touch on a game I got to play this week. So my work responsibilities finally let up a little bit, and I was able to go to Monday night game night. And we didn't have the full crew, so we decided to play a game.
You okay?
And Ryan Quinn had wanted to play the game The King's Dilemma. This is a legacy game. So is it a good fit for our group? It's interesting because if not everybody's there, a lot of times we'll take a break because we have 6 people.
What else are you guys doing normally right now?
We're kind of in between things
You're in
right
between,
now.
right?
We're kind of
Okay.
in between because we haven't started up our second D&D campaign yet.
Yeah,
So we've just been playing board
just
games.
like random whatever. Okay.
This game, the thing is like, so Phil was gone. Just one person was gone. So is this what we play every time Phil's gone? I'm not sure.
It is now.
Because it is a legacy game, and for anybody who doesn't know, legacy game is like a campaign, but with permanent changes to the actual physical components.
Like
you cannot,
writing on the cards
Yeah.
and like filling in little
you can't reset it, right? So we're just using Sharpies to write on stuff because it's not supposed to be something that you could reset. It's you play through it and that's it. We all played Clink
Do you guys
Legacy
have to
together.
rip
It's very
cards
similar.
and eat them?
That was
We haven't had to rip anything up yet.
You haven't had to eat anything yet?
But this game is where each of us are like houses. Think of the small council in Game of Thrones. We're like houses that influence the king's decisions. So we're not the king, but a course of a game then is decrees come out where you have to vote yes, no, or pass, right? And it's the ayes, the nays, or you pass. And all these decrees are like, oh, a bunch of windmills got destroyed, and the people are starving. Do we spend money to rebuild the windmills, or do we, like, let's say we don't have the funds for it, and we don't rebuild them, right? So that's kind of how the game works. Is there's always these decisions. Now, why you would vote yes or no is that each house has specific goals that they're trying to achieve. So, like, my house was like a merchant's guild essentially, and my achievements over the course of the campaign had to do with getting lots of money or getting luxury goods for the kingdom high, because there's different kingdom resources. There's like, let's just think of it as there's like money, food, military power, maybe like political influence, and there's like knowledge or whatever. They're like how the kingdom is doing. And so I want, as the Merchants Guild, I always want to have lots of personal money, and I always want to have the luxury goods high, and I don't care about everything else. But then you also get every game an objective card, and the objective card is to like have things at the extremes or have things in the middle or like have everything be positive or everything be negative. And you get a different one each time. They're just randomly given out. So you have these two maybe conflicting things that you're using to try to make decisions on yes or no. So you're not like,
Wait, is someone the king?
nobody's the king.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's going to vote, but nobody's the king.
Gotcha.
Right? So
I wish there was a king, and you'd be like, I like you.
So you have like power in the game, those you can use to vote, and you have money, and that's what you can use to like trade to other players to get them to vote the way you want. Like if you're like, okay,
Gotcha.
if you
is.
throw down 2 on the yes to this thing that you don't care about it, but you throw 2 down, I'll give you 5 money.
Okay.
And if you say yes to that, you have to do it. You cannot back out. That's one of the rules of the game.
That's
Get
good,
extra sneaky.
right? Because otherwise it's just anarchy
Douchebags.
and
Yeah.
So this is the kind of game where like it could totally fall flat, and I think at fewer players it definitely would. If you played this with a group that wasn't like playing it up a little bit and like kind of role playing your house
Right.
and role playing your objectives
Right.
and like, no, I don't care about this at all, or like, no, of course we need to do this. Like we have these enemies to the north and we need to investigate it. Like I just put all this power into making sure that the red iron got to our army. Like now we're going to use the red iron to go against our enemies to the north. Like, of course we're not. Like, why are you voting no for this? Like that's so dumb. Like, no, here, look, let me give you $3 and vote yes. Okay, like
You're
here's the
getting
3
really
money.
Worked up over this.
But that's how we were playing it, and it was
That's
a lot
cool.
of. I mean, it was so
I
much
like it.
fun.
yeah.
yeah.
It was a ton of fun. And then at the end, you like based on the objective cards you got, you get certain points at the end. Based on your own personal guild's achievements, you're working towards like unlocking powers that like give you advantages. And then also at the same time, single like thing you vote on unlocks like envelopes, and those envelopes are like story sequences. And so like on the
Nice.
side of the board is like this evolving story. The one around the red steel has to do with like the people to the north. There's like one around the down to the south of us is a desert, and there's like supposedly like a treasure there, and there was like a slave woman who came, and like you have to decide to free her or not, and we freed her, and she had information on the map to this one place where like maybe you can find out about some gold. Or so
Oh, spoilers alert.
yeah, I don't know what happens. We only played a couple of games. When we were wrapping this up, it was like, I wish it wasn't bedtime. Like, I want to play this some more. When are we going to play this
like
again?
poison Phil so he doesn't show up to the next
Yeah,
game
we might
night?
have to.
Yeah.
It was,
Ideally, I think we take a vote. It's in the best interest.
If Phil
It-
does not come.
it's the
Right.
perfect game for our D&D group. Would it be a
Cool.
good game for the 3 of us? No, probably not at
Well,
all.
3.
No?
I feel like you
Yeah,
must
that's
have
not
to have
enough.
like 4 or 5, right?
Minimum 4, I would think,
Yeah.
so that you have
like just to
some-
make deals and
Right.
whatnot.
5 was pretty fun because I think you can play up to 6. This is
Wow.
like a 4, 5, or 6, I would think.
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like that's a lot of those kind of games, but
Can you imagine trying to get 6 people together for a legacy game, though?
I
Gosh.
feel like I don't know 6 people.
Yeah, I mean that would be crazy.
Like if someone said name 6 friends, I'd be like, well, this is gonna be a hard time right now. Like, sorry.
Well, I know these guys in the past have used Gloomhaven as the somebody's missing will play this. But the thing is, Gloomhaven characters can drop in and out because they level independently of your like party, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So the party has stats, but characters have their own level and stuff. So they could like play their guy when they're there. I don't know how this works because at the end of the campaign, if you weren't there the whole time, you're missing out on points. It'd be like trying to play Clank Legacy, but you're only there for some of the games. You'd be like,
Right.
well,
Yeah,
my
it'd still
score's
be
not
fun,
going to be
though.
competitive. It still would be fun, though.
Huh.
Okay. What
Sounds
else
cool,
did we
though.
play? Oh my gosh, my voice. Sorry.
Yeah, if anybody's intrigued,
Ooh.
I would check it out. I have always been intrigued about this game, but didn't know the details of exactly how it worked. And once I played it, I was like, ooh, this is fun. I like this. I'm having
Is that
a good
what
time.
you did? Ooh.
Yeah, ooh.
Ooh.
That's exactly what I did.
Well,
Nice.
maybe you'll get to play it again.
All right, so on the last podcast, I said, I want to know if Dinosaur World is any good.
Did you?
I did.
You said that?
I
He
said
did.
that.
He did.
I zoned out.
I saw the Kickstarter. I said, wow, this looks a lot like Dinosaur Island. I already have Dinosaur Island. Why would I back Dinosaur World? I skipped past the Kickstarter. And I thought a lot about it because we had a lot of fun as a group, the three of us playing Dinosaur Island.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, here's another game from the same group in the same world. Cool. But it's like kind of expensive. Is that something I want? And
Well, we don't play Dinosaur Island anymore. Like, it was good for 3. I don't think it's, and we'll talk about it. I don't think it's great at 2. So we haven't played it in a while. So I was like, do we need to get another game similar to a game we don't play?
yeah. We had not played Dinosaur Island since Ken left because Ken,
Yeah.
you were the only person we played Dinosaur Island with.
It's the only game. I'm the only person who likes Dinosaur Island on the entire planet. That's not
No,
true.
I don't think that's true. It's
I
a very
love Dinosaur
popular game.
Island. Yeah.
And then Dinosaur World was also very popular. Okay, we would like to talk about both of these games because I was asking, and so Ryan Quinn said, hey, I heard you want to play Dinosaur World. I have Dinosaur World. And they played it actually last week when I was out working.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll just bring it over and you guys can play it. So we played Dinosaur World this week, and then we played Dinosaur Island also to compare.
Wow.
Yes.
So Dinosaur Island is a 2017 game. It's a
have to
worker
say everything.
placement game where you're like building a dinosaur park, like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And there's multiple phases to it where you have scientists that are like researching DNA, and you have
There's 4 phases. I'm just going to speed this up because you seem confused. There's collecting the DNA and picking out the dinosaurs you can build. There's like getting your scientists or your shops, restaurants, all that kind of thing for your park. You can then use your workers to make the dinosaurs, up the security, all that kind of stuff. And then visitors come to your park. Like it's that. It's like boom, 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 boom. And you just continue that until you meet some objectives for the most part and then points at the end.
Right, but I do think it's important to say, like, the scientists you use to collect the DNA and increase your DNA storage and learn dinosaur recipes are different workers than you have other workers that you use to build out your park. So you use money to buy stuff to put in your park, but then you use your workers to, like, increase your security level and build paddocks for the dinosaurs to live
Yeah.
in and actually make the dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff.
It's
So
like 2 separate people
you have
for
2 separate sets
phases.
of, like, worker placement. But your park layout doesn't matter if you're not playing with any of the expansion stuff. There's like blueprints in some of the expansions that like you need to play your park out a certain way. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. But then, yeah, you have a excitement level. That's how many people are going to come to your park, and that's paying customers. And then they go in, and then people who go in get you victory points, but they might get eaten if there's too much threat from the dangerous dinosaurs that you've created. If you don't up
Yeah.
your security level, and your security level costs money, and it's that whole thing.
Calm down.
Right. Dinosaur World. So that Dinosaur World just came out. Same theme. You're building a dinosaur park. But it's a little bit different in that you. Well, here, why don't you read this, Sam? Why don't you read what you wrote here?
Wrote out exactly like Board Game Geek explains it, and you're like trying to from memory.
Could you just do it for me then?
So in Dinosaur World, it's supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be like dinosaur parks are normal by this point.
Okay.
So it's more about doing the constant challenge of keeping people to come back to your park and be excited more than just making dinosaurs. So each round, so like you were saying, you have scientists and you have like workers. In this one, you draft a card that has kind of a random group of like so many scientists, so many certain kind of workers.
Yeah, they're different colored worker meeples.
I think there's 4 or 5 meeples are different. I'm not quite
green,
sure exactly.
yellow, blue,
Purple.
purple, and then white are
White.
generic.
So you pick a card that tells you kind of like which workers you get. And based on that, there's some tiles and stuff that use certain workers. So you can only do certain things with them, or you can do more special actions with them. And so it's a little bit different in that like scientist to worker phase. But you do the same thing of you're building your park, you're acquiring, the DNA. But instead of people coming to your park, you have a Jeep that drives around to the tiles that you choose.
Think of like the Jeep tour from Jurassic Park. Like if you went to Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
the only stuff you see in the park is where the Jeep drives, right? On
Sure.
the track.
Yep.
So it's the same sort of thing is instead of like a park where you put down square tiles on it, like that's just like in the other one, it's just like, oh, it's hexagonal
it's
tiles.
hex tiles, yeah.
And you have an entrance somewhere, and that's where your Jeep is. And your Jeep drives through the park, and it only
Cool.
has so much movement. And so each tile that you visit is the ones that it can activate.
The ones that you can. So then if you have, if you go to a tile that has a little blue meeple on it, you can use your blue meeple if you kept it, or you can just pass through the tile. So there's lots of options with you can do the action on it, you can pass through, you can, use a white one, there's lots of that. But also with the hex tiles, in this case, like dinosaurs can't touch, and certain tiles will have on them, maybe they have a bonus or a negative depending on what they're touching.
Right.
So you have that, where the last one was just like throw it on your tile wherever.
No, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
All the
at
tiles only do one thing. Visitors can go there to get you victory points, except for restaurants, they can go there to make you money instead of victory
Or victory points.
But in this
that was
one,
in Dinosaur Island. In this one, it's much more of the actions are on the tiles rather than
That's
you
cool.
buying
I
like
like
the
that.
cards for actions.
yeah, you don't have the workers that you can hire. Instead, every tile is kind of different and does a different thing.
Well, this feels more like operating the park as
Yeah.
compared to building the park.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's cool.
Then, so also the difference when you create dinosaurs in Dinosaur Island, you have to pay to like keep getting more like cages and areas for them, and like build that up. In this one, it comes with all the like the 4 cages, but
Okay.
it costs more DNA to like keep adding a dinosaur. So it's the basic
Okay.
plus like more, but it's more points every time too.
Yeah.
Where in Dinosaur Island, it was just like whatever points for, multiplied by however many dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But I like that you didn't have to worry about that stupid, like, did you upgrade your paddock? Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, upgrading paddocks is less exciting than
yeah.
like gene splitting to create a new dinosaur, right?
Right?
You know.
It was like, damn it, I still don't have.
Well, and before we get too far into the differences between the two games, like, what do you remember, Ken, about your experiences with Dinosaur Island? Like, because I have
Yeah.
very positive memories of us all playing it together.
Yeah, I mean, conceptually, it has a super strong concept, which is why I like it. Right, we come from the Jurassic Park generation from a certain point of view. It had a lot of phases. I remember the first time we played, I was still fairly green to board games, I think, and it was
very,
a.
like,
It's a if you're in the 5 or more phases zone, it's a lot of phases. People get
Yeah.
turned off by
It's
that.
kind of hard to teach at first,
Yeah.
or maybe like even reading the rule book is kind of tough.
Yes.
and it is very simple once you learn it. But
It's
just
very simple.
But at first, it was just. Yeah, it was a lot of like do A, do B,
Now we do
do
this,
C,
now we do
now we
this.
do, and
And the more phases you have, the more difficult it becomes to see the bigger picture until you've played the game at least once, right? Probably twice,
Well,
minimum.
and I think the fun comes through in that the theme is fun, and I think the game
Theme is
sells the
great.
theme well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's like very much of that like Jurassic World movie, and the art kind of reminds you of that. And there's like the DNA and the dinosaur recipes, and I'm building out a dinosaur park, and this is cool. And oh, I want this kind of dinosaur. And
And everything
Yes.
everything makes sense. Like the specialist that I hired does the thing that the marketer would do. Well, now I have more
Yep.
people, but
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is
have the
very simple in
security to
that.
support it, right? I have the security guard who ups security. That's that, so there weren't like what you were doing made sense.
yeah.
Whereas there's some games where it's like, why would my marketer increase my security level?
Yeah.
Somebody
it's
didn't,
not
just
trickery like that.
Yeah,
right.
and you're having to make hard decisions. Everything is really based around money, and money is by getting high
Yes.
excitement so that people will come
Yeah.
to your park. But then the problem is if too many people come to your park, but you haven't dealt with security, then people will get
A lot of
eaten, and
people
that's
die.
negative victory points. And then they're not generating
Like
you
every
victory
turn.
points.
But what
too.
we found was that I don't think you can win this without killing people, right?
No, you have to kill.
Well, exactly, and the thing is like, some of the big dinosaurs, they add like 3 threat or something like that, but they give 7 points.
Right.
So you're gonna get way more points off of those scary dinosaurs than they're gonna take away points by killing people.
right.
Yeah, it is very
Which
confusing
it
at first,
felt
though.
it's fun. Dinosaur Island feels very original Jurassic Park 1.
Yes. Yes.
And what you're telling me from Jurassic World is like, well, maybe we're into the sequels somewhere, right?
yeah, it is much
Some
more
of the most
we
recent
have,
movies,
like,
which aren't super great,
Yeah.
but it's been active for years. We know the drill. How do we keep it interesting?
yeah, and that's the thing with like the keeping it interesting when you go on a hex tile, I don't know what it's
It's
called.
boredom.
Is it boredom?
So every time you activate a
Okay.
hex tile on the Jeep tour with your
Yeah.
Jeeple, it's called, but on the Jeep tour, every time
Yeah.
so every round you do the Jeep tour, every time you
Excuse
actually activate a tile with the Jeep, it builds up boredom because people are like, I've seen this before.
Sure. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So yeah, it has the excitement, but then the boredom goes up. So there's a lot of times that the tiles you do, you might only visit like once or twice in the whole game because your boredom's so high up that it's taken away from your excitement.
Huh.
So it is kind of that thing of the way you build it from where your Jeep is. You can't just have like one path where you're like, oh, I know I get 5 points. 6
Well, I was
points.
going to ask,
You
do
know,
you
you
have
can't
multiple
follow the
paths?
same.
It's
You
a new
always have the
path each
same
time?
starting point,
Same starting
Right.
point.
but they're hex tiles, so you can go
Right.
wherever you
You know.
want.
Okay. I see.
You have so many moves and you can upgrade, your Jeep and all that. And then halfway through the game, the starting point switches to the other side of the map as if they switched it. So then you do
finally
have
built
that.
your park entrance. So the first half of the
Yeah.
game, you start at kind of like the back end of the park where you're like
Right.
building out the facilities, and then you finally built the entrance. But it's really just to switch your entrance,
Yeah.
That's
switches
cool,
to the other
though.
side of
That's
I
your
do
park.
like that
though.
it does that,
I
though.
like
or
that.
It would be really annoying if it didn't do
Well, you
that.
could never get through the super boredom parts of
No.
your board otherwise. Like you need to
Right.
flip over so you can like, no, actually the newer stuff we've built, which is
Yeah.
way over here, is exciting.
That's cool. I like that.
So that I like. Well, I'll say in a second. But the only thing I don't like about the world one is like the little boredom pieces that show like they upgrade 2 to 3
Holy
are
smokes.
so tiny.
They couldn't be smaller.
It is like the size of an eraser on a pencil. Not even kidding. Like a little tile where
You
you're
couldn't
like,
make small. I haven't punched it out. So we borrowed this copy of this from our friend Ryan Quinn, and then I liked it so much we went and bought a copy, and I haven't punched it out yet. I can't imagine how tiny they are. They're
I've seen a lot
so
of people
little.
just using dice that are sitting on their tiles, and they just switch the dice because you
Hmm.
can see it a lot easier, and they don't like get hit and they're gone.
That would be a lot better if you're playing
Yeah.
with more than 2 people. With 2 people, there's so many of them that's like it wasn't a big deal. But with
But
more, I'd be like, oh, okay, give me your
yeah.
3 because we're out of 3s. And
Oh man, yeah,
They're
that's
very
not good.
tiny though. Also, the text on the hex tiles. So I love that in Jurassic Island. Is it no Dinosaur Island? Jurassic Island.
Jurassic
What am I doing?
Island.
Yeah,
In
same
Dinosaur
thing.
Island, the tiles were kind of fun, like raptor nuggets, like for a restaurant or something.
Yes,
But they would just be like, it would be a very simple drawing for the most
it was
part.
very generic. Yeah,
This one is like the whole tile, and the art is really good, and it's
a
filled
huge
up.
upgrade in the
It's a
art
huge
for
upgrade
sure.
in the
Nice,
art.
yeah.
But it's like they took the text and then like minimized it so that
I don't understand why it's so tiny.
I am like, I'm having a hard time
These
reading this.
hex tiles are huge.
They're huge.
Right? They're
Yeah.
they're like really.
Just-
it's not like
just wish it was a
suburbia.
little bit
Imagine
bigger.
suburbia times 4. Right? It's a huge.
Whoa.
Each of the hex tiles are
Like it's like
big,
a, like 2.5,
Okay.
3-inch hex tile.
but
like
the
across.
text is so tiny on it.
It takes
Huh.
up, little, like 1/8 of it, and
So
I just want to be
tiny.
like, you can make it a
That's
little
my
bit
only
bigger.
complaint about Dinosaur
That's
World.
it, though.
That tiny text.
Which I,
It's so and those tiny boredom tiles.
yeah.
Huh. Well, that's a small complaint to make, though,
but-
right? I mean,
And then the other big difference that I thought, like, I enjoyed or I liked or whatever was, so normally in Dinosaur Island, when someone dies, you take your points off right away, right? Am I saying this correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so when someone dies in your park, you take off the points. In this one, a lot of times too, you roll to see if someone dies instead of just saying, "Oh, we
I
had
like
2
that.
extra,"
that's
or
cool.
whatever. You keep all your death tokens, and at the end, everybody adds them up. Whoever had less, it's like everybody subtracts that, and then whatever's left over is your deaths.
Ah.
Which I really liked that because it just seemed way simpler for the whole game than
Well,
this
and you
like
can-
constant. I'm down to 2 point. Like,
At 3-4 players, you could all be playing like very high risk parks too.
yes.
If everybody was on board.
As long as everybody's on
Mm-hmm.
board.
Right. That's cool.
Otherwise,
I
somebody
like
might
that.
screw somebody else
You get
out.
real
Well-
conservative in all 3 other
Well,
players.
The other thing
That's
is you
cool.
might not know because I mean everyone's like little death tokens are sitting over there, but that's what Ryan was saying is they played everybody, like Evan was winning or something, and then at the end they added him up and Evan still had like 30 deaths
Whoa.
after
He had
everyone
like
subtracted-
28 more than
Right.
everybody.
And so he lost because of that, but that's that end thing that you would never know until
That's what
you
makes
add
it
up.
exciting to add up
Yeah.
the points, though, right? I mean,
So then you don't know if you should be like a little more,
Yeah.
So I do like that a lot.
that sounds fantastic. How do I get this right now?
That's what I said. I read the rule book. And I bought it. We hadn't even played it yet. I had the
Before
borrowed
we
copy
played.
before we played it. I read the rule book and I said, "Whoa," and I bought the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people like Dinosaur Island because it is that basic, like, I'm building my Jurassic
I love
Park.
Dinosaur Island.
But when we played it after Dinosaur World, it seemed so clunky and old and slow. It was like, yeah, I got a restaurant, and you just put it on there, and you're like, now I just have it. Where the hex tile, you're like, well, I can't place it here because it's not going to get, like, I don't know. Dinosaur World seems so much more updated in the art, the style, and the play just seems so much more fun, especially for 2 players. I mean, I don't know. In a group situation, someone might want the other version. I still would say Dinosaur World, I think, is more fascinating. But 2 players especially, Dinosaur Island was like we're each playing solo games and just kind of looking at each other every now and then.
Right.
Dinosaur World we're actually competing, and you could, like, play that out.
Yeah.
So
I like
I
it.
picked that one.
Everything you're saying sounds fantastic.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
And Dinosaur World has separate dinosaur pieces.
I was gonna
for
say,
each
yes.
dinosaur.
They fixed it.
Yes.
Like 10 points across the
Yes.
board. You guys made actual pieces for the dinosaurs.
And,
I
and
don't
Thank
know
you.
if that's just the Kickstarter
Is
one.
it?
I don't know.
I don't
Oh,
think it
come
is, though.
on.
I haven't
think it
opened
is
our copy
the-
yet. I know there's at least for the herbivores,
they got-
the small carnivores, and the big carnivores, there's different meeples.
There are different meeples. It might be that they don't have each dinosaur.
In the
that
Kickstarter
No, I
one
don't
that we
expect
played, there was a different dinosaur meeple for
For
each different kind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or
That's
like
cool.
basic Dinosaur Island is just one for all 3 types.
I hated that. It bothered
Yeah,
me
it was
a lot.
the Triceratops. It might just be the
I
3,
see
but
it,
even
yeah.
that is better than
It's
just
better
the
than
pink
the pink.
Triceratops or whatever that. Yeah. But
I completely agree with everything you said. And
sorry, I kept like butting it.
No, I wanted you to throw it out on the table. Playing them in a row like that, playing Dinosaur. I had fantastic, wonderful memories of Dinosaur Island. Had a great time playing that game. Playing Dinosaur World and then playing Dinosaur Island was like, it was like playing the new version of a video game, and then you're like, well, I don't want to play the old one anymore.
Right.
It was.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like second edition because it's not the same game. It's a different game.
It is
Right.
different.
And that's what it's like. I didn't know how to say it before, but it's like, well, this sounds cool because they're not trying to fix the first game. This is a different game.
Yeah, it is a different
Right.
game, but the upgrades to the art and the graphic design go a million miles in my book. I mean, you
Yeah.
think about
Nice.
Dinosaur Island, the box cover is like this crazy awesome 90s art with these
Yeah.
neon colors and stuff, and then the board when you're playing, it doesn't like live up to the box art, I think.
Which is funny
Yeah.
because in my mind, I still remember it very fondly. But you guys
Yeah.
having played this new one, you're like, it looks kind of bad. I
It
don't know.
really the new one, the Dinosaur World is the only thing that made Dinosaur Island not great. Like Dinosaur Island was
That's-
great until
that's
I played
fine.
Dinosaur World,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because the art in Dinosaur World is everywhere on all those big tiles.
Well,
There's
it
art on all
covers,
that
like, the whole
stuff.
tile.
Cool.
The other one would be like the Fry Shack, and it was literally just like a shack in the middle of the whole tile.
Well,
From
here's an
10,000
example
feet up.
of a graphic design change. So in Dinosaur Island, the threat track and the security track, they go from top down. There's 0 at the top, and they count down
Drives
your
me
board to
crazy.
10. And at the bottom, you put a +10 if you're going to start the track over again.
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to remember. That's in Dinosaur Island?
Dinosaur Island. In
Yes.
Dinosaur World, it's just flipped around. 0's at the bottom, and you count up. You
That's
count
right.
up your board.
Yeah.
And it makes so much more. I never even thought about it. I played Dinosaur World. I was
No,
like, yeah, same.
I think we argued about it once. Me and Emily were like, this is dumb. Why are we starting at 10?
Yes.
Well,
it probably was that.
Well, you start at the top and then you work your way down. And then for me, I was like, oh, these are the same tracks. They start at the bottom, they count up. And then we went and played Dinosaur Island, and I was like, why are these backwards? Like, this is super weird.
It was weird.
So that's an example.
Yeah.
But imagine
like
that times the whole board, right? Everything in the game has been
Yeah.
rethought, especially like the Dinosaur. I'll be honest, the Dinosaur Island rulebook is like, it looks terrible. It's
mess.
it's not necessarily a bad rulebook for like teaching the game, but it just looks bad. And Dinosaur World is like modern. Like they obviously hired somebody to do the rulebook or whatever. It looks
Yeah.
so good.
Nice.
But like after we spent time playing essentially like giant suburbia and building a hexagonal tile park, which
Yeah,
was so
a
much fun,
suburbia
and how you lay it
Jurassic
out.
Park.
You're laying out a park that you're going to have to set a path through. So where you put everything, and there's all
Which I totally messed that up. But
the tiles all have kind of adjacency bonuses. So like if you put down the like Jurassic garden or whatever, then any herbivore that like dinosaur paddock that's touching
Right.
that gets bonuses and stuff. So there's so much thought put into how you lay out your park, and that when we went to Dinosaur Island, and it was like the thought is in what you buy,
Doesn't
but where you
matter.
put it doesn't matter.
yeah.
And it was like, oh, that takes kind of the fun out of it. Like
Yeah, it was
it
kind
was
of weird. I don't know.
like having built out like this is my park and this is how it's laid out, and it's laid out this way for a reason.
Right. It's intentional.
And then to go to like, well,
The
But
other
that's
one didn't
cool. But that's
matter.
cool though. Like if you're a Dinosaur Island fan,
fanned.
meh, if you meh, if you're a Dinosaur Island fan,
Mhm.
this is what you want in your next version, right?
I
Yeah.
completely agree.
This does everything you did or didn't think about when you played it the first time. Yeah.
Everything about it felt like an upgrade. Like
Cool.
the art's an upgrade, the graphic design, the building of the park, and the fact that like so in the original game you have two different kinds of workers, which is confusing, and you have to explain that to people.
Like this.
Here,
yeah.
there's only one worker pool. They're different colors. If you use the green worker to do a certain action, you get a bonus. But you could also use any worker to do that. If you use the scientist to get DNA, you get a bonus when you do it. But you could use anybody to get DNA.
And it did show you that really easy too. The way the
It's all
symbols were
displayed
was
on the
really
board.
nice.
Mhm.
So it was never a confusing like, well, hold on, what was the color? Like the way it shows you is really good.
Yep. So you only have
Good.
one pool of workers, right? You don't have like this.
And they're mini. I'm sorry, but I love that.
They're
like
so tiny.
mini meeples that are like like little tiny dice like which I enjoyed.
So it streamlines it. That's the word here. It streamlines it. There
Good.
aren't two
Yeah.
kinds of workers. And then if you remember from Dinosaur Island, you have cold storage for your DNA and you have cold storage limits.
Yep.
I
Yep.
hated that.
Those completely gone in Dinosaur World.
Really?
You can have
Okay.
as much DNA as you don't have to worry about. And in Dinosaur Island, that's part of that is one
it
of the
makes
hard
sense.
decisions.
Yeah.
Is I
Yeah.
want DNA,
Yeah.
but I also need to use my scientists to increase my storage limits. Like it's not that there aren't hard decisions in Dinosaur Island. There are great, like meaty, hard decisions about like balancing what you spend money on and how you use your
Yeah,
scientists
it's
and
definitely
increasing
still
your.
tricky. I just
Yeah.
feel like it falls kind of like flat.
It's
I
just
don't know
not
how
as
to-
fun as the hard decisions being which tiles do you take to put in your park and where do you place them.
Yeah.
And when I get DNA, I just get it. I don't have to worry about do I have room for it or all this kind of stuff like that. Having that be like not something I have to think about. So you have one worker type instead of two different kinds. You don't have cold storage limits for your DNA, and you just get the DNA, and then all you're thinking about is where stuff goes in your park, and do you want to upgrade your Jeep? Because if upgrading your Jeep
Man, that was a
means
big-
you can take more, the Jeep
Yeah.
can go
Like
further and go to
movement,
more
yeah.
spaces. And also, in Dinosaur Island, your excitement is based on your dinosaurs that you have there. So every time
Yeah.
you make a new dinosaur, you get some more excitement, and it's constant from round to round. Your park
I
is
hated
this
that.
exciting. You didn't like that. Well, in
Yeah,
Dinosaur
it's a little
World,
stale, right?
I just
Yeah.
in Dinosaur World, your excitement resets to 0 each round.
Yes,
And
which
your
I like
excitement
that.
builds over the Jeep tour. Where you go
Huh.
builds
Yeah.
the excitement of the Jeep tour, and that's where the boredom plays in.
Right.
Every time you revisit a tile you've been to before, more boredom builds up on it, and it's less exciting.
I
Unless
did
you
like
build more
that.
dinosaurs on it, then dinosaurs add more excitement. But you only get excitement from dinosaurs if you go to that tile and activate it. And
Yeah.
dinosaur
Huh.
paddocks cannot be adjacent to each other.
That
Right?
effed
So you're
me up a
having
few
to move
times.
around your park to try to get to the dinosaurs. You could build tons of
But, like,
dinosaurs, and if
in
you
a
never
different
bring
path.
anybody to them, you
Yeah.
get no excitement from it. And there's also tiles that you have to spend excitement on, like
Oh, you're,
boring
getting,
stuff.
You're getting really excited.
Well, like, let's say you have a tile where you like it's the security for a bunch of dinosaurs, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
you bring the Jeep there, that's the only way to activate it, but that's not very exciting.
no, yeah,
It might even be a 0. Every time you go there, it's more boring. It's negative excitement.
yeah.
So you
But
can't go there first.
right there. I did that a couple times. We were like, never mind. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
go
you
this
can't
way.
go there because
You're
you don't
like,
have
I
any
can't.
excitement. You have to go do something fun first before
And
you can go
then-
do the security
Really?
thing.
Okay,
Yes.
interesting. Huh.
Which I did like that. I
It's
like
like
that
a
it reset.
currency. Okay.
Yeah, you have to kind of think about your path because otherwise it would be that thing of, well, I know that if I go here,
gotta
I
go
always
here.
get 10
Yeah.
points, and
Yeah.
you just keep doing that. It would be like, well, great, you just set yourself up to keep doing it. And
Right.
It's boring.
I mean, I'll be completely frank. Like, I didn't back the Kickstarter. I wish I had, and I wish I'd gotten all the expansions with all the different kind of like exhibits you can add and all that stuff. Dinosaur
This-
World just
yeah.
like made me want to not play Dinosaur Island anymore. It
That's
did.
an, but that's
But
an
I-
okay thing. I mean, that's
I think that's okay, but I also think I can understand a lot of people are saying, well, I don't want the same game in my collection.
From
they
the outside, they look so similar.
But they
They have
aren't-
DNA dice. They have a
aren't
dinosaur park.
necessarily the same.
They aren't.
I think if you still love Dinosaur Island, you could definitely have both games in your collection
Huh.
because they are different in the way the like actual gameplay and points is. But if I had to pick one, it would be Dinosaur World.
Yeah.
You know,
The last
someone
thing
was
I'll
wondering
say,
that.
the last thing I liked about it is in Dinosaur Island, your only player interaction is the drafting of the dice, the buying of stuff in the store. The other people always buy the stuff you wanted or get the dino
Yep.
recipes you wanted. You're like,
and
"Darn
that
it."
was the most fun, right? Was pushing for
Yeah.
or some. Hey, can
Which-
somebody please buy this so that we don't have a
Yes.
whatever that was? You know, you had to buy certain DNA
So
so,
it,
that
like-
there wasn't
Right.
an issue. Yeah.
But that was also why I think that Dinosaur Island didn't work good at 2 because there's
Right.
3 dinosaurs to choose from. There's whatever 5 DNA. We're hardly ever fighting because it's like, well,
Right.
you got that. Well, I'll just get this.
But that's another good example of like, okay, so that's where whatever DNA dice doesn't get picked in Dinosaur Island adds to the threat level of everybody.
Yep.
In
Yes.
Dinosaur World, there isn't a threat die or anything like that. You have like security and threat that are going to cause deaths in your park. They're just tokens you collect. But
you
also,
always roll the dice too,
every
though.
time you visit a dinosaur paddock with your Jeep, you roll a dice. There are 3 different dice depending on what kind of dinosaur paddock it is. If it's an herbivore, it's like
less of a
it's
threat.
a 4 out of 6 chance that that somebody dies. I think it's 50-50 on the medium one, and then it's more than that on the high one. So, like, you just roll a dice to see if somebody died there. You could, and so that there isn't some sort of like global threat. Like everything that's threatening is totally dependent upon my
In your park,
and
Yeah,
where my Jeep
which
went.
I really like that.
Right.
But the amount of deaths that you take on is dependent upon what everybody else is doing. That's the thing that's great, and that's where all of a sudden
That's
it
right.
matters what everybody else's parks are.
That is true. Like, I could get crazy if you're getting crazy.
And you were
Right.
getting crazy, so I got crazy. I barely had any security. I had a bunch of herbivores, and it didn't matter because Emily was like killing every single person who came to her park, so it didn't matter. I
But
was
I
like,
won,
fine.
didn't I?
No, I won, and I had
Are you sure?
fewer deaths.
Yes, you did. But
I
we were very
definitely won.
close. We were close, though. It was like within a 10
It was pretty
point-
close. It was
I
pretty
think
close.
it was like the death toll was I had 4 or 5 more.
So the
Which I
fact,
do like that
right?
at
That
the end.
you have to sort of like you're looking around, seeing what other people are doing. Man, that changes the game so much.
Cool.
Yeah, I really
Sign me
enjoyed
up.
that.
I bought it during this conversation.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's really good.
It is.
Good.
It's not that expensive too. It's like I think
No, it's
online it's only like
45.
$45.
Yep.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not
Yeah.
bad at all. It's really worth it.
It's very
Completely.
reasonable.
Now, I think,
Yeah.
though, like, the Kickstarter had the good money, right? Like, Ryan.
Yeah, it doesn't come with the metal money or the different meeples for
Yeah,
every
you
dinosaur
know.
or whatever.
Whatever. I'm
The
But
still.
I mean,
fancy
it's
draw
still
bag.
fun.
It's
You
still good.
go out and get the dollar store dinosaur bag
Yes.
and use those.
You're good to go there.
That's the way to do it.
All right, guys. I think it's time for our second riddle.
Second, what?
Riddle. Our second riddle. The
Oh,
Riddler.
man.
The Riddler has arrived. Hold on, let me get the Riddler. I don't know. What's the Riddler sound like?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Although he's in that new Batman movie, that looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool. He's got that like, but I don't know how I feel about the like classic muscle car Batmobile.
Well, I'll tell you how to feel about. Don't you worry. I'll tell you how to feel about it. You're excited. It looks
Of course,
great.
I'm excited. Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Robat Pattinson.
Robert
Bat?
Pattinson. I'm so excited about that. There's so much stuff I'm excited about. There's a Wheel of Time show. I know we've talked about this.
Here.
Like in a couple of weeks, there's a Wheel of Time show coming out. You know when I
Yeah.
started reading the Wheel of Time? 21 years ago.
Wow. Before time began.
Right. And I think 7 books were out when I started reading it. 6? 7? 7th might have come out when I was reading it.
Crazy.
Oh, man. And then I had caught up, right? And then I had to wait. You had to
Right.
wait for them to come
Right.
out. That was the worst.
All right.
All right.
Second
let
riddle.
us not forget the contest. The second riddle. Gamer and father are the roles Ben chose, but this garage activity he loves even more than those.
Give me
Who wrote
another one.
these riddles?
Give me another one. Some sort of master of.
Here we go. Gamer and father are the roles Ben chose, but this garage activity he loves even more than those. That's probably true, actually. Can you get the answer? We'll see.
It's garage activity. Huh.
Garage activity. That's right. Okay. Well, have we been watching anything? What have we been peeping our eyes on other than downsizing? Ugh.
Oh, God.
Gosh, downsizing was so bad. That was the worst D-list movie we've seen, I think.
Yeah, and I would love to hear what people think about that episode of the D list as the first standalone D list episode.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, like, is this interesting to talk about a movie that we all unanimously
Everybody
hate with
hates.
every like ounce of our
So
body?
bad.
Is it yeah, that's a good point. Is it interesting to listen to hear people bitch about a movie
Like that
was
pained
bad?
me. Like usually we
That
make
one was
jokes.
really
Like
bad.
I
That
hated that
movie.
movie.
I hated that movie so much.
I regret every second of downsizing.
Oh, the other thing I was gonna say because this week we played both dinosaur games.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we had a giant platter of cheese and salami and apples and crackers.
Oh man,
And that was one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah.
Me relearning the game and going, hey, could you cut up some cheese over there?
I can't believe how much cheese you ate while I was teaching you the rules. Like Olivia was standing there, like being annoying.
I was like,
and then,
you need to get out of here so I can.
first of all, Olivia's standing next to Emily while she's like eating snacks and trying to learn a board game. Drives her nuts. I learned. She was like gritting her teeth until she finally was like, "Go to bed."
After 9 o'clock, I am off the clock. I don't want to deal with
Kitchen's
kids.
closed, right?
It is, yeah. So when they keep popping out of the woodwork and they're like, do you think I could? I'm like, just get
She was
away
like
from me.
eating all our food and like she was
I
like,
don't
"Oh,
even
this
care.
mustard is great," and it was like, "Get out of here."
Do that at 6. Do that at 6 o'clock and whatever. Sure, go try the food. When it's
I
time,
need some
like
good
my
mustard.
hour of no kids, you need to
Right,
leave my
right.
sight. I don't like. I need the periffs on.
I love that. On the adult Lunchable, when there's the salami, cheese, and crackers, there's also a big pile of mustard
Just
in
a
one
gob.
plate.
Just that
Yep.
that mustard that's like it's mostly
Yeah.
seeds, right?
Right, it's mostly seeds and horseradish. That's all
Right,
it is. And you
yeah.
just sort of like you've
Yeah.
made the cracker a salami
Just kind of
cheese,
Yeah.
and then
Oh man.
you slide it through that mustard. Oh, why don't we have
Ugh.
that right now?
Ugh.
Because you ate all the
I
cheese.
ate all the cheese yesterday.
You know what I could use is the horseradish right now. I need that. I need the cleanse.
cleanse?
Yeah. I need it to shoot up into my
He needs a
brain and
wasabi up his nostrils.
Yeah.
Here,
clear
Like,
the.
I'm in the basket
this
now.
basket is for my broken leg to lean
Let's
on.
go to
know,
the
I'm
knee
in
Your
cam.
feet.
Where's the knee
All right,
cam?
let's get the
Yeah.
knee cam.
Ben's
forget
foot is just
text-
resting on it.
We'll get in here. Hold on. Let me.
There's so many
text-
times
Text
today.
MRI to 27489.
I don't even know how you would like
Right,
set that up.
27489.
Right, I don't
You can get in on the knee cam.
So many times today I've been like sitting and I'm comfortable where I don't like I forget for a second and then I'll just be like, "Okay, I gotta do this," and I either stand up and start walking.
Oh,
normal,
no.
Or I'll like move my leg and then I go,
Oh,
"Oh,
really?
shit!" And that's when I remember my leg is broken.
Here's the knee cam.
Here's the knee. We got the knee cam. Emily has this basket so her foot can stay
Yeah,
elevated, but
it's like
like
my-
here I'm in it too.
Right.
It's very comfortable though. I like it. I'm hanging out in here.
I like how you actually have a knee cam going.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
knee cam. We'll just keep the knee cam on for a
Okay.
little while. Here you go.
It's
Yeah.
just
Anybody who wants to see, we got the knee cam
the
in.
knee.
Oh man, that sucks.
Oh, there's so many times though that I was like, well, let's go grab this, and I start walking normal, and it's my knee goes out.
Get it
so-
together. I don't know what your problem is.
Sorry. Okay.
Well, since you can't walk around, have you been watching anything?
I have
Em?
been watching things. Now I'll go quick because I wrote down Squid Games because you watched that. Did you watch all of it, Ben?
No, I didn't watch all of
You
it.
kind of just.
Yeah, I
What do
watched
you
too
say,
many.
though?
I watched too many YouTube videos about like analyzing like Easter eggs and tip that I like got the whole story, and then I didn't want to like watch any more of it.
Well, don't be that
What?
stupid.
I don't know. It's like that's not my thing. It was
Right.
super popular, so I felt like I should watch it,
I know
Same with
I-
us.
and it was a little too like. It's a little too, I don't know, negative.
It's not
So to
like.
say.
Oh really? In
Dark?
terms of the plot, or just people dying?
Not people dying. It's terms in like people are suffering. Like I don't need to
Sure.
see people like being unhappy. That's not
Yeah.
my thing.
Gotcha.
I like things that are about. If I want to see people about like emotional internal struggles, I like more shows that are more about relationships than things that are about like. I don't know. I do. I like I always like that movie Begin Again with
Yeah, you always tell me that, and I still have never watched
yeah, you
it.
probably shouldn't, but it's with Natalie Portman and who plays the Hulk.
Which one? Eric Bana?
No, in the Hulk right
Bruce
now.
Banner?
No, in Avengers. Who's the actor that plays the
Are you
Hulk?
talking about what's his name? Mark Ruffalo.
Yes, it's Mark
Wait a minute.
Ruffalo and
They
Natalie
found somebody
Portman.
named
I love
Bruce
that
Banner?
movie.
Wait a minute.
Right?
There's a movie with Bruce Banner and Natalie Portman, and they're like in love.
Wait, it's not Natalie Portman, isn't it? Keira Knightley.
Yeah, it's not Natalie Portman. It's
Okay.
Keira Knightley.
It's like-
I'm an
Although
idiot.
she's not anymore.
They're both kind of the
He's
same
like
level
20
of like
years
a
older than
quiet.
Also,
Huh.
the guy from Maroon 5's in there. What's his name?
Oof. Maroon 5 guy?
Yeah, I don't
Maroon
know.
5 guy. He's in
Adam
there.
something?
Adam.
Levine.
There you go.
Gosh,
He's
boy.
like her boyfriend in the beginning.
But don't they? Whatever. Okay. I'm just gonna really quickly. So on Netflix, I watched season 3 of You, which
Us?
is, I think the first seasons were originally on like Lifetime or something.
Something
But
else, yeah.
it's this guy who like obsesses over a girl, and he seems all innocent and charming and this and that, but really he's like a total creep, and he'll do whatever it takes
Whoa.
to like seem super perfect.
I can
Even
relate.
killing people
Sure.
and keeping
Right.
them in
Story
like a
of my
creepy
life.
box and
I'm
all
in.
this stuff.
Find
This
a
is
nickel
like-
for find a
Killing
nickel for
people.
everybody I kept in a box. Jeez.
Yikes.
this is season 3 though, so it's kind of a whole new thing. But I don't know, it's interesting, and they've been super popular all the seasons.
See, because I didn't know that's what it was. I thought he was a killer, and he dates.
Well, I mean, he has.
right? But
he's
I
not,
thought
he's not like a serial killer.
it's
he's
not like Dexter. His thing is
No.
not I
He's
kill
more
and then I
like-
date on the side.
No, he's more like, oh my gosh, this person is ruining your life. Like in his mind, he's thinking this when really
Right.
it's just
So
like,
I'll get rid of
a
him.
So
friend
he's
who's
a
negative.
psychopath,
and yeah, and he's like, man, I'm helping you out, like by doing this kind of
sexy
thing.
psychopath. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
I can get with that.
Yep.
That one's really
I'm on
interesting,
board.
crazy. I watch Made, which is also on Netflix. It's like a mini series. It's just 10 episodes.
Okay.
This one is much more like real.
Hmm.
It's not a psychopath killing people randomly, keeping them in a box. It's this woman or she's really young. I feel like in her 20s. She's in an abusive relationship. She's a young mother. She leaves a relationship. The only job she can get is like a maid service kind of cleaning job, but it's just her like struggling and trying to like get through. But it's really good.
Cool.
I don't know.
And that's it? When it ends, it's done?
Yeah, it's just a 10 episode thing.
I love that.
Nice.
Make more of that,
Yeah.
you
Right,
guys
like,
out there.
Right.
But everyone in that's really good. And it's a really good story. I feel like it actually it's for once like a real depiction of if
Right.
you're in a shitty relationship or situation, you left, and you're honestly like, I don't have anything.
This sucks.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm supposed to do. I have a
Yeah.
3-year-old. And everyone's always like, we'll get a job. And she's like, what do you want me to do with my 3-year-old? Like, it's this
Yeah.
her struggling, but it's really good.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like that whole thing of like why people have such a. You'd be like, well, why don't you just leave? And you're like,
Right.
well,
It's
where would I
not
go?
that
Yeah,
easy.
what do you want
Yeah.
me to
I don't have
yeah.
I don't have a safety net here.
And her
Yeah.
mom in this, like, clearly has, like, mental issues, and her own life is a struggle. So it's not like
Yeah.
she's like, well, I'll just go to my parents or this or that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right. After a kid emergency, we're
Sorry.
back.
yep.
What were you talking about again? Oh, hurting your finger on the chair.
Let's go to the finger cam.
Can we go to the finger cam?
Oh, ow.
Don't
Why-
forget
the
to
finger-
text
Why does this do
Grace
this?
Can you please pull
to
up the finger cam?
24879.
Are you all right?
No, I totally pinched it underneath. It got caught in
Yikes.
this.
Should we poof again?
It's okay. Shit.
Let's restart.
Yeah, that's easy.
During the break, Ken and I were talking about how stupid the bodybuilder pose front relaxed is.
Wait, why is that called front relaxed?
I don't know. That's what it's called.
One of many questions we have yet
You're
It's
not
the
to
in-
dumbest thing
you're
ever.
not
get an answer
in
to.
any way relaxed.
It's very stupid.
It's like front stress. Like,
Right, yeah.
I
If it
don't
were
know.
called
I don't
front
like it.
stress, then maybe I would try it.
Maybe that's the challenge. It's like, can you look big while doing these things that are designed to make you look small?
No, the whole thing is stupid. Bodybuilding stupid.
You say that now.
Power
You'll be doing
body.
your
When
first-
my left leg is
Body
gonna
power.
Pretty soon you'll be doing your first bikini,
go. Ugh, no.
Ugh,
whatever.
gross.
Yuck. Sorry if anyone does that.
But also,
I
you
watched-
know, like, take care of yourself. It's unhealthy. Real
Only
bodybuilding is
murder in the
unhealthy.
building.
Sorry.
Real bodybuilding?
Well,
Real
is,
bodybuilding
like,
is
out
unhealthy.
of control.
Yeah. Anyway, only murder in the building. Tell me about this.
Or
I want to know.
murders. Isn't it murders?
Is it
I think I
plural?
wrote it. Only murder? I don't
Is it
know.
murderers?
It's only murders?
Nobody
Okay.
knows.
Murder. I don't know. It's Steve Martin,
Murderai?
Martin Short, Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah, that's a weird third
Which is
wheel.
kind of weird. I feel like they're like, we need someone new, like in that old comedy.
I feel like I always get her confused with Demi Lovato.
What is this, like the Disney Channel? I don't like, why?
I don't know.
There's a murder in the building. They, like, Martin Short wants to start their own podcast because, you know, they all follow a podcast that they have in common, like a crime one.
Mm-hmm.
So then they try to solve the murder, but it's just a very, like, it's like a witty but very mild when it comes to solving the crime. It's
Is it like
it's not like a
deadpan?
true crime. It's very much like, look, you know, the murderer's over there. Press this lever. Like, it's like a goofy, like, they went up the elevator when they're coming down the elevator.
Oh,
like,
man.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Scooby-Doo.
It kind of is. But I don't know, it reminds me of, like, the old comedy that they would do, like Steve
Right.
Martin and Martin Short. But it's like, easy and simple, and it's kind of nice that it's not too serious and all
Right.
that. So it was fun.
Good. How Martin Shorty is Martin Short in this?
Like,
'Cause
what does that mean?
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being him like unbearably over the top.
10 is Jiminy Glick.
Yeah, but I like Jiminy Glick because he's supposed
I would
to
say
be over
he's
the
like
top, right?
at least an 8 or 9. He's
okay,
very
so
Martin
he's
Short.
firing
yeah.
on all cylinders still.
I think,
Jiminy
okay.
Glick.
I think his character is supposed to be he used to write like Broadway plays, and
Sure.
then
Okay.
one failed in this like really stupid way, you know, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And he's always trying to pitch another like
That sounds
idea.
very Martin Short. Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I would love this show.
Me
I
too.
feel I would
It's good.
absolutely love this
I
show.
adore Steve
It's-
Martin.
Yeah,
Steve Martin is a national treasure.
exactly.
Planes,
Try
trains,
this.
and automobiles when their car goes between
Oh,
the two semis
man.
and they turn into skeletons for a second.
I think
His fingers are in the dash. He has to pull them out of the past.
on this podcast, that was the first time I've ever seen that movie last year, actually.
So good.
And it was really good.
So
yeah.
good.
They go like under an underpass and they're skeletons in the car.
But it's like their hair still. That's the best part. But oh man.
So good.
They get pulled over and
Good.
he's like, "Sorry, officer, the old speedometer's broken because the
Right.
car is like
It
90%
melted.
burnt to a crisp."
Right.
Like,
Well, Emily's dad's favorite movie is Captain Ron.
that if you like Martin Short,
Yeah.
you should watch Captain Ron because it's
I'm
Kurt
Steve
Russell.
Martin and Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell is the hot cabana
Wait,
boy
Martin
that like
Short and Steve.
yeah, sorry,
and
not
Kurt
Steve
Russell.
Martin.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, Martin
yes.
Short.
And that is a great. There's
Martin
some really
Short
good lines.
Only works if he has a very good straight man to like
Right.
bring him down a notch a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So Kurt
It's
Russell
really
could
good.
probably do that.
Kurt Russell's the like cabana
Sexy.
boy guy
Yeah.
who like teaches them how to sail their ship, and Martin Short has his family with him, and so the whole time he's like, "Excuse me, could you put on something?" Because he had, like Kurt
Right.
Russell has like a speedo on. He's like, "What's up, boss?" And like that. It's really good. We
All
should
right,
watch
it's
that.
on the list.
Oh, it's so good.
The last show is Why the Last Man, which we kind of talked about.
Why?
Yeah, we did.
The Last Man?
Yeah, like the
The
letter
chromosome
Y,
or the
chromosome, and his name.
Oh.
Like,
is it a chromosome? What is that?
yeah,
I'm gonna
but
sound like
also
an
his
idiot.
what's his name? His name is
It's
starts with a Y.
Kyle.
Yvonne.
No,
No,
it's-
no,
it
you're right.
starts-
It's what is it? It's
It's something weird.
Yukon.
no,
Yikes.
Shit, I can't
because I was
Yellow.
texting a buddy about it. What is his
And it
name?
was all yellow.
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Look at the stars.
But this is the one where
it's the one where all the
Spoilers.
guys die.
yeah,
I mean, it happens in the first episode. It's an obvious like.
How'd they
it's not
die?
it's just like
that's the
legit,
mystery.
like from the inside out. Everybody starts. It's kind of gross when that
Ooh,
happens.
Ugh.
gross.
Yeah. After that, it's not quite so gruesome. But at first, I was like, ew. When
Why would you do that then if your show isn't going to deliver on that on a regular basis? That's what
So-
bothers me about first episodes. Like
yeah,
they're bloody
Right.
and there's
it's a little
butts and
gruesome,
boobs
like
all
when they're
over.
kind of
and then-
showing that. But then the story after that, it really doesn't show any major stuff, but
This is the same problem I had with Game of Thrones. Is that
Yeah,
like,
I tried it. I'm
The
like, no.
the politics and the story and the little bit of
that'd be
fantasy and stuff
interesting.
is like so intriguing, but then it has to be like so gruesome and
Yeah,
stuff
I
at the
don't-
same time that you're like,
Right.
yeah,
this is a huge turnoff.
I
for
don't
me.
need to see someone like
wanna
pull
see
someone's
this.
eyes out or something.
Right.
I don't
What
like
was that?
this.
I remember
Yeah.
watching the video of the guy who plays Mandalorian. He plays the Viper, I think, and he fights
it
the
him?
mountain.
Yeah. Oh, that is
And
the
you
worst.
don't-
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't even watch
You don't
that.
need to know anything about the
Mm-mm.
show to know that, like, whoa, this is cool. You know, 2 hot shots, and then like he like squeezes the dude's brain or something.
Like
and
he
it's
essentially like smashes his face and like it's
like,
disgusting.
come on.
It was
I
to
think he
I
just
think it was-
squeezes his eyes.
He
or
does have.
crushes
Then I
his
think
head.
he like crushes his head or something. It was at like a couple episodes after that I was like, I can't do this anymore. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
stopped
thinking about
watching
the
it.
story. I was just like, I just don't want to see someone die in the grossest
Can't
way you
take
could
it anymore.
imagine.
There's a good Saturday Night Live skit of like the writers team for that show where let's bring in the expert, and it's a 12-year-old named Danny.
That is what it's
Who-
like.
It's like, well, when was the last time we showed boobs? And they're
That is
like, I don't know, like
totally-
3
oh my
minutes
God.
ago. He goes, there you go, put that in.
Yeah,
And then
get him on there.
And then
anybody
some
get a head
blood.
chopped off?
He
Yeah.
shows them a calculator he's turned upside down. and it's
Right, exactly.
80085.
Yeah.
That was what it was like, though, where you're like, well, what's going to happen in this scene? You're like, well, there's the naked girl. Oh, now they're having sex. Oh, look, someone's head got smashed in.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
that
their head
is
got
the-
smashed in while they're having sex.
Yeah, that is the whole. Which you're like, I would
Yeesh.
like to see who's running the world at the point, but I don't want to see someone else's
Not-
face get smashed.
Not
in,
if this
so.
is what it takes.
But in this show,
Why the Last Man you're
It's-
talking about?
yeah, it's
What is his name?
interesting, but Yorick.
That's what it is. Thank you.
Yorick.
Yes, that just came to me.
Never would have thought
It's
of that.
interesting, but there's a lot. It is very slow, and there are so all the guys died. He's the only one who survived. He doesn't know why. He essentially was like taking a nap in his apartment and shit went
And he
down.
woke up. Everybody's
Well,
Woke
he's
dead.
a
up and
loser.
all
in the
guys
comic.
are dead.
Yeah.
And so
This is based on a comic.
yes, it is
Graphic
based
novel
on-
comic
yeah.
type thing. Yeah.
Okay.
which I think is quite different in that is what
It
I read.
is.
But I
Yeah. We talked about it. He's the main
Yeah.
character, and you see everything through his lens.
he does show up more in like the later episodes that I've seen, and I'm just interested to see what happens, but it is slow, and I also don't like that it seems like I don't know, if every guy died, I don't see that every woman is just totally bitchy and trying to kill each other, which is essentially what the show is.
Oh,
Ev-
that's not
I
everyone-
could see that.
But everyone is a constant. You walk around, and if you see someone else, it's like everyone has a
What
gun.
a bitch.
I'm gonna kill you instantly, and I just want to be like, would that automatically?
Would that
be?
actually yeah, weird.
I feel like it would be this weird thing of, hold on,
well,
people
shit.
have died.
What do
Are
we
we
do
really
now?
just gonna instantly try to kill each other?
That's why
Yeah.
you'd get killed first.
Because I'm like, hold up, and then I get shot immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
I don't.
maybe.
There's some things that seem realistic, and some though that I'm like, would everyone be severely violent, like to the point of way over the top?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't
So
worry.
there's a
So-
lot of violence in this show.
Well, there's just a lot of like, I have a gun, get out of my zone. Like,
Get on my zone.
I just imagine everyone being like, I'm
Five
sorry,
zone?
what the hell happened when you walk out? Like, I don't know. It's just
Don't
a
worry.
little
It
weird.
got canceled already. You don't need to.
Did it?
So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
But,
are you
yeah.
recommending it or not?
no, I'm watching just to kind of see what the heck happened so far, but I'm not, I wouldn't be like, you gotta see it.
Well, you know what I would recommend people go and watch is the movie. Go watch.
Don't say the name.
All right, I'll just say a bunch of terms.
Just
Bene
talk about it.
Gesserit.
Just talk about it. Don't give away spoilers. You
My
are the
desert,
worst.
my planet,
Kazakh Haderach.
my
that what it's called?
spice.
Ben, who's
Paul
the,
Atreides.
who's the main actor in it?
I don't know.
Timothy
I've no
Chalamet. Chalamet. It's Dune. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's
Go
Dune.
watch it.
Dune,
It's good.
If you have the chance.
also known as the planet. I can't remember what it's called.
Arrakis? Come on. I've been
Arrakis.
jabbering all night.
You though, Ben, you can't talk because you are like.
All right. I'll take it
you're-
from here.
Yeah.
With a spice
don't
melange.
Talk. Stop.
The
This
Okay,
is
sun.
couple things up front.
'Kay.
This is pretty high concept sci-fi. If you're not prepared to not
That's true.
know stuff, you won't like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is very little. You're not given a lot to go with,
But just go
and-
with it.
but
It'll
just
make
go
sense.
with it.
Yeah.
If you have the chance, see it in theaters, I think.
Yeah,
This
that
is a
probably would be
theater
really
movie.
good.
For sure.
We watched it at home, which was
So
still
did I.
really good.
It's very
but
good.
I
This
bet
would
it
be a
yeah.
different experience in a theater in
Oh,
terms
yeah.
of sound and visual and everything. Like this is an art piece.
This is all. You nailed it, Ken. This is an art piece. This is sound and visuals. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's what this is. This is sound. Now, like Dune,
Here
the
you go.
book,
Is
it
this
has
when you're
a
gonna-
plot. No, chill. It has.
I'll
Let me
stop
tell
it.
you
I'll
about the.
Get ready to
Dune the
get
book,
ready
it
to
has a
rip
plot.
the cord out of
I
his
think
mic.
I think it takes a little while. Like over the course of this slightly over 2-hour movie, like you don't get a ton of the plot. You know, this
There's
is
not
just
a lot.
of
because-
spectacle.
No, but at the
This is
end,
a
it all makes
spectacle.
sense. It
Yeah.
At the end, it
makes
does.
sense,
Yeah.
It would be very easy to get buried in what's happening. And I think they do a very good job of explaining it's an intergalactic empire. This is not
Yeah.
spoilers, I don't think.
No,
There
not
is
at
an
all.
emperor. There is a galactic emperor.
Mm-hmm.
There are houses which are basically families that
Yeah.
the emperor tells them what to do so that the empire stays in control. That's
Yep.
it. You know, Dune is Arrakis. It's a planet that has the most valuable resource in the planet because it allows the empire to travel in
Like
light
space
speed.
travel.
I
Spice
think
melange.
something
Yeah.
like that. Again,
It is not explained, but the Space
don't-
Guild requires this
You
the
get
spice.
just
to-
enough to know that they need it.
The
Right.
only way to do intergalactic travel is with the spice, and the
Which is
only
from the
place in the
planet.
universe you find spice
Is this
is
one
on
planet,
this planet, Dune,
Yeah.
also known as
Arrakis?
Arrakis. I cannot
So
remember
anyway-
the name
All
of it.
night you've been talking about it. You wouldn't shut
core
up.
Bene
and now
Gesserit.
you-
The core plot is that the emperor, in a sudden change, pulls one house off the planet as the caretaker and sends in a new house to take care of it.
Look at
And then
you,
there's
like, Ben is
basically
biting
and there's
his lips.
fallout because of that, right? The houses
Yeah,
fight.
and that's
the
what you're
houses.
seeing. I don't know anything. I'm confused at this point. It'll make sense. It's all good. It's great to watch and to hear and all that.
What is the term I'm trying to think of? The Kishak Haderach?
I don't know. You're just
The
making up
Muad'Dib?
shit.
Paul Atreides?
Frick, frack, paddywhack.
We have all been playing some video games together,
Yeah.
right? Gloomhaven Digital finally released 1.0. On the last
Yes.
podcast, we were all excited about it. It had just released at the last podcast, but none of us had seen the 1.0 release. The big promise of the 1.0 was that the campaign would be in there. And
Is
What
it?
was it before?
It is.
It was just like random dungeon encounters.
Oh, what's
yeah, it was like a random sort of like you're playing
Map.
the rules of the game, but it's not the board game's campaign.
Oh,
It is now. So Gloomhaven Digital campaign mode is exactly the board game.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is point for point the same
card for
exact.
card, everything.
Everything is exactly the same. As
Even-
far as I can tell so far.
Even more so because a lot of it is voice acted. So you get like Jack Sarah talking
Yeah.
to you and that sort of thing. So pretty
Absolutely.
cool.
So same story. It's the same. Like when you travel, you get a road encounter. When you're in the city, you get a city encounter. The way you level up and all the cards of the characters and the characters that are unlocked and how they unlocked and the way the battle goals and the enemy AI and all that stuff. It is exactly the board game, but in digital, which means so much of the upkeep that you have to do on the tabletop, you don't have to do. You only
Yeah.
have to make your character's decisions.
It's nice to not have to like
It's
have
great.
to eat
It's
You
so
know,
great. It's
baddies. in the
you can do
course.
you can do 2, even 3 missions if you're lucky
right.
in
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
great.
Absolutely. I highly recommend this instead of the board game. You know,
Really?
if you have,
Wow.
well, the board game's what, like $100.
That's
I think
true.
it's a little bit more.
Just depends
That's
on
true.
like what you really like.
You know,
If you like the in person.
Yeah, if you want to be on the board, get the board. But
But if
I
you're
mean,
fine
it's
either
going to be a
way,
labor of
this
love.
is this is so much easier.
you could buy 4 copies of the digital edition for almost the same price as the tabletop edition, and then
Yeah.
you could all play together online, and you would get the exact same experience. It's not different at all. It is the same exact campaign, at least from what we've seen so far. I don't.
Well,
I
how
don't know if
many?
things
We
change.
played 3
Yeah.
nights. We blew the first 3. We blew the first mission 3 times in a row,
Yeah.
or we got it on
Twice
the
in
third,
a row we lost. We beat it on the third.
and then we played 2 more.
Then
You
we
did 2
played
more?
the second mission and beat it very quickly, and then we played a side quest.
And got
we
roasted.
came we came
No,
so close.
we did very well.
We were
I'm
like,
not going to
One
say we
hit
did
away.
good.
no, we
yeah.
didn't. We could have been more certain in our victory.
No, the guy
We
had
lost.
like two hits left, and we all got.
You just needed to
exhausted.
draw a +1, and you didn't. It was like a +0 or something. It was so close. I mean, honestly, I think we should try that one next. I bought some boots so I can move a little faster. I
Yeah.
want a shot at
God.
it again.
Well, we fell victim to like a classic, just arrangement of the map that was like
Ah,
wasted 3 turns
man.
trying to walk through
Yeah.
some doors. But
Nobody had any like jumping. Nobody had anything to get around some obstacles, and like we just got stuck.
But that was after we absolutely
Yes,
blew a boss fight out of the water.
Yep.
Like no
destroyed.
challenge whatsoever. Yeah.
Well, someone messaged me today being like, man, he's playing by himself, I think. Which, how many, do you have to have so many characters by yourself?
I think you have to
You
have,
have to have
2.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was like, I keep failing this last one. I'm not doing good, blah, blah, blah. And then he said he was on like mission 15 or like whatever. And I'm
Whoa.
like, okay, well, we're on 3 and we're
Mission
It's
2?
like,
Yeah.
please
Yeah.
shut up. Like,
So we've played 3 missions and we've lost 3 times and won twice.
yeah. And that's what I was explaining. I'm
Yeah.
like, most of the, like 75% of the time we lose until. And so I'm like, if you're on 15 and finally you're having trouble, I think
Yeah.
you're doing just fine.
But
Well,
the
and I know
benefit
that-
of digital playing it online or playing it on the computer is that it's way less painful to lose here.
yeah.
Way,
Right.
way, way
Set
less
up in
painful to lose.
all the, yeah.
Well, and the game, even the tabletop game, always tried to make it like you didn't waste your time playing a night that you lost, because any experience you gain, you keep. Any gold you gain, you keep. Any treasure chests you open, you keep.
That's right.
But putting all that work into running the AI and running the tabletop and all the tokens and setting up the maps and everything, and then
Oh,
to get to the end of the night and then lose and be like, okay, we made no progress on this campaign or this campaign mission, and it took us 3 hours to get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing when in the tabletop or in the digital version, it takes at most an hour and a half to do a mission. You
Yeah.
know, like the other night we played 2.5 hours. We played 2 missions. We won one and lost another. You get to the end of an hour and a half and you're like, okay, I get all this experience, all this treasure, or whatever we picked up, and we can try it again.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
I'm so much more fine with that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I agree. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Good.
It's good.
The
Cards
like
work.
interface and all that stuff's
Everything's
like great.
exactly the
Or
same
whatever.
now. Cards, everything. So you're not missing out. Especially, I think if you were playing solo, I would definitely want to play this way.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
gosh.
if you
Yes. Oh
I
my
can't imagine
gosh.
having to do like the setup and being like, well, this guy goes here and now I have to draw for him, so he attacks me. Like that would be such a pain.
I mean,
Obviously,
I
you might
still-
like that, but
Yeah. I still think if you're like a fan of the tabletop game, there's stuff here that you're just not seeing that's happening in the background, right? They could
Yeah,
have
I
taken
mean-
steps to show, I've said this too many times, sorry. They could show the cards being drawn, right?
Yep.
They could
Yeah.
because you have cards, but they don't show any other cards, and a lot of it is
yeah,
Yeah.
this kind of like hovers over it. Does it kind of show it?
it shows like
Yeah,
a plus
it
Above the
one
head.
right
yeah, like
before
plus
you
2
hit.
or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really ever talk about. Maybe it does if you do the tutorials or whatever. Like I skipped all the how to play stuff because I know
That's
how to play
true.
Gloomhaven.
That's
like I
true.
didn't do any of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But you never see the enemy deck. So the modifier deck is shared between all enemies, and if they draw ×2, then the whole deck gets shuffled again. If they draw
Right.
miss, then the whole deck gets shuffled again.
Gets
But if they're
shuffled
drawing a
again.
bunch of +1s, hey, they're not in the deck anymore, or whatever. And
That is true.
but you don't ever see the deck.
But you don't see that. The deck's
Right.
not there, and your
Yeah.
deck
But
isn't there. You have to hover over your character to see it.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
and I
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
definitely
like,
different, like holding your cards.
You can't
and
have
doing
all that stuff on screen at the same time. I understand that, and I don't know. There's no solution to what I'm asking for. I don't think.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
they made the right choice by not showing it. But if
Mhm.
you never played the game, I don't know if you totally get what's happening.
Yeah.
Where are those numbers above their heads coming from? Why
Right.
did that come up again? Why does this enemy card have that circle with the arrows on it, which means
Right.
shuffle the whole enemy deck again?
And maybe it
Right.
does say it in the tutorial.
Maybe it does say it in the tutorial. I assume
Yeah.
it
And
would.
maybe it does, right? But like I said, I skipped all that. I just
But
went
I
and
bet,
played because
I bet the
rules.
tutorial would be a slog to get through because there's a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
rules.
Yeah, what is it like to learn this game if you've never played the tabletop version and you only bought the digital? What is it like to learn the game
That
digital?
might be rough. It might be rough.
It may be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Though the one guy who was on the 15th mission or whatever, I think this was his first time playing.
Crazy.
Clearly he understood
Yeah,
it
he
enough
got
to
to
be
them.
like, but I'm not quite sure. I think it
Wow.
was always so expensive, and like to play it
Yeah.
solo, why would I buy,
Yeah.
the whole thing? And so this was finally the opportunity to try it for whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, nice thing I liked about the digital, it's given me a really good understanding of what you guys are doing. 'Cause when we played on the tabletop, I was essentially running the game and running the enemy AI and all this stuff. And I was so busy doing that. Like I would make the decisions for my character, then I would run the whole, the,
Yeah.
the,
And that's
the
what's-
enemy AI.
yeah.
And I was like, well, I hope you guys made some good decisions or whatever. And now that I'm only making decisions for characters and you guys are making decisions, I can be like, oh, these are the kinds of cards you have. This is what your character does. This is how we can help each other out.
Yeah.
And I think we'll
Yeah.
get better at that over time. It's still just as exciting to level up. It's still just as exciting to unlock stuff and buy stuff and make your character. The fact that the game is so hard, I don't want to go down in difficulty. I like
Yeah.
playing. We're playing on normal.
No, it is good.
The fact that it's so hard makes it so fun to level up because you're like, you understand that the
Finally.
card it's one more damage or one more space of movement or one
Like
you do
that can make or break.
it's such a big difference sometimes. Yeah.
My thing is always the damage modifier deck or whatever it's called is like you're really cruising once you've knocked out that -2 or the 0
Yes.
or whatever it
Oh my
is.
gosh.
Yeah.
And once you have that modifier deck ready to go,
There we go.
Yeah.
then you're like consistently dealing damage. That's the
Yeah.
best.
Right.
Yeah.
Right about when it's time to retire is when
Right.
your character's great.
Right.
That is
And that's fine. That's by
Exactly.
design, right?
Yeah.
That's the loop.
Well, but that's what I'm excited about is like we can move so much faster in the digital, even with losses, that we'll get to unlock characters and see the campaign through. Like
Yeah.
I'm super pumped
Yeah.
about that.
Well, I mean, we've
I
played.
also don't think I'll instantly retire necessarily.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to think.
don't know.
We'll be more deliberate this time. But
Yeah.
we've played 2 nights, I think. 2 nights?
Three.
3 nights.
We lost both times
Five.
the first night.
Put
Yeah.
five adventures total,
Yeah.
and that's 5 weeks. That would have taken us 5 weeks
Yeah, that
to
is
get
true.
Right.
through in
We did it
person.
all in like a week and a half.
Maybe 6 hours
1 week.
total.
Yeah.
You
that's
know,
true.
so
Let's play right now. We'll play after
Yeah.
the podcast.
Turn it on
Yeah.
right now.
No, it's awesome. If you guys listening want to see us, we have been streaming our plays to Twitch and YouTube. They're long, right? It's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We're not necessarily trying to be entertaining the whole time. It's just us hanging out and playing. But if you want to join us and watch us and see our playthroughs, go check us out on YouTube or look us up on Twitch. when we're live. Otherwise, the YouTube playthroughs
Yeah.
get saved if you want to watch them later.
Yeah,
So.
we usually just put on stories if we're gonna do it because it's a last minute. Like, hey, should we play tonight?
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a scheduled
It's
thing.
not scheduled, so we'll post like, hey, we're gonna do it in half an hour or something like that, and then we'll be live. But yeah, they'll save to YouTube if anything.
Now, the only other thing then for today, Ken, have you been playing any other video games? You got me on Riders Republic, which is a new Ubisoft game about like extreme sports, races, and tricks and stuff. Reminds me kind of like 3 Extreme mixed with SSX,
But it's
mixed
really
with Tony
more.
Hawk.
It's really more Forza Horizon.
It is. It's
because
almost
it's-
like an open world racing game.
Yeah, so you can alternate. You can switch on the fly between mountain biking, skiing or snowboarding, paragliding, flight suiting, jetpacking,
Yeah.
and then you also have, at least I have so far, snowmobile and probably a dirt bike. I think at some point. It's as crazy as it sounds. If you've played Forza Horizon in particular, which is a racing game that sort of straddles the line between arcade style racing, which is more exciting, and realistic racing, which is like, well, you bumped a tire, you're out.
Right.
Like
You did.
it straddles that line really well. This is sort of more towards the arcade style, but there's world events and all these sort of things, but it incorporates something. I don't know if Forza has this that I really like, which is because it's supposed to be a persistent world. It's also constantly recording what you're doing, and it will play ghost characters as if they're in game. So the
Of
world
yourself?
of all players. So
Okay.
Oh.
people you see, unless you go to specific live events, are usually ghosts that you're
Okay.
racing against.
So at some point was someone playing.
Right. But what that
Right.
means
Okay.
is that it always feels full, because these big open world games like this, they start to get really crappy if there's no
Forza
live players.
Could feel empty, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be racing and there's nobody in the race except computer players. Well, this is somebody who raced this before. And so they save it and they populate it
cool.
with ghosts. Yeah. There's a few live events, but so far it's a little buggy. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it right now. Especially what are they called? The mass rides or something, which is like 120 people riding mountain bikes. And
Seems out of
it's just
control.
like,
But they do that
You-
in real life, though.
but you
Yeah, well,
can't
that's more
see
out of
yourself
control,
because
but-
it's
Right.
third person. You cannot see your
Oh my
own
gosh.
character inside this mass of
Everyone's
120.
just-
But so
Well, the thing is like I played tons of Tony Hawk and SSX, and I love arcade racers and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like racing games are some of my favorite types of video games. And like Ken said, Forza Horizon. Like Forza Horizon 4 was fantastic. I love Forza Horizon 4. So Ken's like, oh, let's play Riders Republic. And I was like, cool, this like blends a bunch of the stuff I love. Yeah, absolutely, I'll play this, and I will continue to play this. But man, they timed it this way on purpose. A massive open world racing game that's arcadey comes out 2 weeks before Forza Horizon 5 comes out.
Yeah.
Like this was clearly on purpose because like I subscribe to Game Pass on PC, and
Yeah.
Forza basic game Forza is gonna be, or Forza Horizon 5 comes with Game Pass. So
Yes.
that comes out tomorrow, Friday, November 11th, if
Does
you
it?
pre-ordered the like deluxe version. Otherwise, you got to wait till next week, next Tuesday.
I'll wait.
But
Yeah.
I've been counting down the days to Forza Horizon 5 for like 2 months. I mean, I'm so pumped about it.
I heard it was much better than 4. If you can,
Yeah, and
believe
I
that,
loved
actually.
4. Right? I
was
loved 4, and I heard
lukewarm
this,
on it. Yeah.
and
I mean,
heard
it
this
was-
one is great.
It's undeniably good. The problem with 4, you started in that winter village and you had to get through the season. You were
Mhm.
driving like Ferraris in snowed over Switzerland
Right.
or whatever it was. It just didn't make sense to me. The payoff was supposed to be that like, oh, you raced through it. You got through it. Summertime, time to get nasty. And it was weird. The new one's in Mexico, which I think It's warm all the time.
I think it fits better. The last one was in like England.
Is that what that
And
was?
it wasn't,
Jeez.
yeah, that was like, and it wasn't as, I don't know, there wasn't as exciting of terrain. Where here, like, it's in Mexico, so there's like, forest and volcanoes and desert and like so much things that fit this arcadey sort of like take cars. They're all real cars, right? Real life
Right.
cars. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to drive a McLaren Senna, and I want to drive it through the desert, right? Or do this off road racing, and it's a little bit. It's not like a Gran Turismo or a Forza or like let's talk about like real racing sims like Project Cars or Assetto
Right.
Corsa or whatever. It's not like that, but it takes the Forza simulation and it tweaks it out to a little bit more arcadey, but it's still based in this sort of like realist thing, but it plays good on a controller.
Mhm.
And then is this fun racing game, but with like all these cars you wish you could drive.
Yeah.
And I'm so looking forward to the new one. Like because I just want more of the same. Like, and in a new map, it's going to be a ton of fun.
Well, my goodness, talk about a pretty game. Forza's beautiful. Riders Republic is not quite as pretty.
It
And
has the
it's-
Ubisoft jank.
And it's like I have a bunch of audio issues. Hold off on it. I think it'll be, I don't know, wait for it to go on sale, I guess. It looks real. It's a game that you're going to turn on when you don't know what to play. Just like Forza, right? Which is
Right.
like, well, nothing really want to
Just
do right
something.
now. I'm going to go
Yeah.
dick around. Yeah.
Well, in Forza, I just kept cranking up the AI difficulty, but always raced the AI. And I had the AI cranked up really high by the end. I don't think I had it at the top, but I had it pretty close. Just so that I didn't always win all the time. It was a good challenge. But in Riders Republic, I think I'll play against real people. It's just
Well, I don't think
crazy
there is
enough.
AI. That's the thing. It's all ghosts.
Yeah, it's all just.
So you
Oh,
get
okay.
ranked against ghosts of other people.
Well, that's cool then. Yeah, I just want to
That
play
is
against
cool.
real people.
Yeah. So I mean, you're still gonna get like dudes flopping into trees because they're AFK or whatever, and it's a ghost of a guy who put his controller down and left, right?
Yeah, walked
So
away.
you're gonna get that live experience, and it's
That's pretty good though.
but it's kind of buggy right now, so I don't know.
All right. That brings us to the last riddle for our giveaway challenge. Is that what it was called? With the Gamecasters? I'm sorry.
It's not really called anything. It's just a giveaway. It's not a giveaway chat. You're like so weird at making up things.
I'm so sorry. All right. The third and final riddle of the Day Night Dice podcast is to complete this quest, you'll need to apprehend the wife's name of our Minnesota friend. Did you get that, Em?
Ooh, I got
Did you
it.
get it? Do you
I
know the
got it.
answer?
I do.
To complete this quest, you'll need to apprehend the wife's name of our Minnesota friend. All right, guys. Well, I certainly hope that we gave enough clues to all the riddles over the course of this podcast. And for anybody who's listening to this podcast from the first time and has come from the Gamecasters, welcome. We're glad you listened. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Ken, tell Megan hi from me.
Good idea,
Okay.
Em. I haven't talked to her in a while.
Haven't talked to Megan in a while since they moved to Minnesota.
That's true. All right, guys. I think that brings us to the close of this episode of the Date Night Dice podcast. Join us again next time where we talk about our next D-list movie. Do we spoil the D-list movie? What's it going to be?
Throw it in there. I say let it rip because I'm excited.
We're going
I'm
to watch
very
Cats.
Yes, thank God.
And if we get lucky, maybe the butthole edition.
The
Yeah.
butthole
The
edition.
butthole cut. If we
The
can
butt-
find a pirated copy.
I'm so excited to watch Cats. Like,
It'll be
if
like
it's bad, it'll be bad
It'll
in a
be
fun
funny
way.
at least.
it's just
not,
gonna watch the sense
oh.
of relief after downsizing. I just
Oh,
want it to
I
wash
can't
over
wait.
me. I'm gonna get
So
Megan to watch it with me.
Perfect.
Yeah, I want everybody in on this one.
I really can't wait. So if you're listening to this podcast
Yeah,
on the
watch
day it
ahead of time,
releases,
too.
this week, Thursday, tune in live, Thursday night, 8:45-ish, 9 p.m., we'll start streaming our D-list exposition of
Yeah, what
The
do you
movie
what do you even
Cats.
call that? What is it?
I don't even know.
Our D-list
trip
spoiler?
through our
I don't know.
newest D-list movie.
Group
Otherwise-
therapy.
Yeah.
You can find us right here on the Date Night Dice podcast feed next time. And until then, I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
I'm Ken.
And have a good night, everybody.